Okay, good morning. What is it, Wednesday? We're
It's
here
not
with
morning.
Chris and Hank. It's whatever, GM. I'm here with Chris and Hank and whoever else wants to come on. Let me turn on my banner.
Sure
The
thing.
link should be pinned to the comments. So if you want to join us, just hop on. What's on y'all's mind?
Not much, man. Not. I was. Not, we were both there on machine live stream pretty late last night, and then I got to sleep around. I don't know. I got to sleep and woke up several times. I saw you were still in there, Hank, pretty late. And you said it was pretty uneventful. So,
No, he said we
um,
missed, but he won't tell
oh,
us what it
we
is.
did miss something. Something
I thought you
explosive
said
happened.
a little bit.
No, nothing supposed to happen.
No.
I can't really remember, so
Oh, okay.
it's not that important. I was
Anyways,
hoping to
okay.
get in drama with people, but I think they're afraid of me. They don't want to mess with this.
Well, and John shut that down too, which I'm glad he did because it let the discussion go in a direction that I think was more constructive
I agree.
and better for the stream overall.
Yeah,
Because once they realize they can't come here and get the reaction they're trying to get, they're gonna move on somewhere else.
Yep. Just don't feed the trolls, and they will starve. That's what happens. They
Yeah.
can't eat if they don't. If you don't feed them.
but how am I supposed to cook them up if they don't come?
What?
There's plenty of channels that they hang out on. You can go find them.
Yeah, they can
Okay,
go hang out in those racist
Or you
streams, like
go
when
on
they
their
just talk
stream.
about
They have streams too. Just drop it on one of theirs.
right.
all right, I'll do that after this then.
I don't know. I get really bored with trolls. I don't find it all that entertaining. I understand why some people get the urge to like want to confront them, and it's kind of like an easy punching bag to take out some frustrations on, but it ultimately just creates a self defeating cycle. It's not worth it.
Every
Anyway,
cycle set defeating.
well, maybe so, but yeah,
Sometimes there's an art to. I've done some trolling myself, so I
I have to. I mean, I'm not, but there's a difference between trolling in a way where you're taking the piss out of something, you're making jokes or you're being entertaining or funny. That's fine. I do that sometimes even on Discord. I'm not like I don't see the harm in it whenever it's done in good nature. These people are not good natured. They're hateful, mean spirited. They want to destroy something. They're not trying to add anything or make it funny or something. They're literally just trying to create misery. That's not trolling to me.
Yeah,
That's
but they're not good at it.
oh, they're not good at it, but it's still it's like it's so stupid. It's hard to even have any good comebacks to it because it's just like, what do you even say to that? The best thing you can do is ignore it because there's nothing entertaining about it. I mean, just it's kind of just sad after a while to me, but that's just me. I mean, that just doesn't mean everybody has to feel that way. I just that's how I feel about it.
I got burnt out on it at some point, but it kept me engaged for a little while. But I'm very vulnerable to that kind of drama to begin with. So,
I haven't really seen anything in the news today or anything any different. It's still
oh, I
just people
have.
talking about.
I
Oh, you haven't?
the Israel thing, but this I'm worried I'm going to lose friends. This is exactly what happened after George Floyd and Evergreen, where some really close friends suddenly started to distance themselves from me because I didn't hold the political opinions that they did, and in some of the same groups that I turned to for support during that time are now getting really bothered by people's opinions on the Israel thing.
Okay, let's try to lose everyone. So let's
Well, it might happen.
all right. Let's go for it.
Some of them still
Chickens
see
for Chick-fil-A. There we go.
they still there's still this like both sides mentality out there, and there's a lot of sympathy from Hamas, even from people on my side, like the anti-woke side.
Yeah.
And
I don't
I
have any
don't
sympathy for Hamas. I have
I
no
don't have any
sympathy for
sympathy for
Hamas at all.
Hamas or Palestine has plenty of opportunity to resolve things with Israel. They're the ones holding up the peace process. You can read their charter. You don't have to look at any more propaganda but their own charter. They are the ones that are for the complete extermination of Israel and a
Yeah.
Jewish state in that part of the world. So I think a lot of it's propaganda, but they don't know that it's propaganda, and so they think that I'm the one falling for pro-Israel propaganda when I'm just looking at the facts and trying to piece reality together like I always do. Of course, they think they're doing the same thing, but
Yeah.
a lot of the propaganda that the progressive left is swallowing, I think some of my friends, because I don't think they're necessarily swallowing the propaganda. I think they're very caring, tenderhearted people, and they see Hamas kind of in an underdog light and Israel as an oppressor. And so they're vulnerable to some of that propaganda, even if
I
they're
think
not actually seeking it
I
out.
think a lot of people conflate the plight of the Palestinian innocent people with Hamas being like the freedom fighters they try to portray themselves as. I don't have any sympathy for Hamas. I think Hamas is a dangerous, awful group. I do have sympathy for the Palestinian people that don't have anything to do with the conflict and are just stuck there. I do have sympathy for them. But yeah,
But they're
I
the
have no sympathy
minority.
for
I mean, it's
yeah,
the
it is the
Palestinian people that
minority.
put Hamas in power, and it's the Palestinian
Yeah.
people protesting in the streets supporting
Yeah.
what Hamas did. It's
I'm just
not
saying
like we
there
have
are
this
innocent
minority
soldiers.
of ruling warlords and a mostly innocent populace either. And there's two Palestinians because the West Bank is Fatah, and they're the
Yeah.
pro-Israel. So it's not even all of
Yeah.
Palestine; it is Gaza.
Yeah,
Just
no,
Gaza.
I agree. I agree completely. I'm just saying that that's the only sympathy I really have in the situation is for those innocent people. But beyond that, it's just it's pretty much impossible for me to to give any credence to the idea that Hamas is anything to be sympathetic towards. I mean,
It's a
they have
terrorist organization
yeah.
dedicated to the extermination of Israel. Like,
Same
there's
thing
no
as
way to both sides that. I'm
Yeah, so
sorry. There's not.
terrorism is just a tactic, but manifest destiny prevents Israel from losing this. Hamas cannot even win. So let's just skip out.
I that's the thing that sucks the most of the situation is that I don't think as long as there are people in the Palestine, the Gaza Strip, that believe in Hamas's general message, their general goal, I don't. As long as those people are alive, I don't think they'll ever stop because they're ideologically driven in that sense.
It's not. It's been happening since 1920. Like, the terrorism started. It's almost 100 years.
Yeah.
And one thing that continues to embolden them is they see part of the rest of the world supporting them. So that gives them hope.
Yeah, I agree. I'm just saying, like, I don't think there's. I really, really hope, and I hope I'm wrong, and that they find a way to achieve peace. But I don't
That
think
is
it's
up to the
Yeah, there is
Palestinians.
a way to achieve peace.
The ball has
We
been
must
in
just
their
not pay
court
them
for
over.
decades now. So it's not Israel that's holding up the peace.
Yeah. So to have peace, you just have to pay Hamas over because they just refuse to stop the conflict.
It's very similar to what we were talking about the other day with like the collectivist versus community mentalities and how in a democratic society like America, how communists and communes can exist within its borders, but not the other way around. Well, the thing with the Israel-Palestine situation seems to be that.
Hello.
Yeah, I think there's a phone ringing. I don't know where.
It's in
Not
your
me.
place.
Okay, hold on. I'm going to take this. I'll be right back.
Okay.
He's probably getting the delivery.
That sounded like a real phone too.
Well, it was a cell phone. Cell phones are real phones, Jeff.
A landline, a real phone,
A landline.
a real phone. It sounded like a real phone.
Those are fake phones now. I know hipsters attach wires to their cell phone pretend it's a landline.
Yeah, I saw that. They have the receivers. I think my roommate used to have one. And they put their ring to make it be a landline ring too.
Yeah. And there's also voice over IP phones, but they actually do not ring like that anymore.
What, phones?
Yeah, you can have a voice over IP phone that uses an Ethernet jack instead. But they ring like cell phones too.
It was a wrong number, I guess. I don't know.
Oh, okay. So I was saying, since Hamas is doing a genocide run and refuse to stop it, there's only one way to end the run for them, and they just have to lose all the way. Since he won't cancel a genocide run.
I agree. I'm a Westerner. I'm sorry. I'm going to support Western liberalism over genocidal terrorist states. It's not
I
a both
would-
sides to me at
it's like
all.
a-
This is a very easy call.
Yeah, I mean, what was it? John was calling it was Bronze Age warrior mentality type thing. I mean, he's right. They do have that kind of mentality. They don't. The Hamas people do not seem to have any concept or ability to accept a coexistence type of situation. They're fine with existing within those borders as long as they still have the ability to keep fighting and trying to exterminate what surrounds them.
Yeah.
Whereas
And
I
it's
do
been like
think
that
that
from
Israel,
the beginning.
Yeah.
From the beginning, it's been like that.
yeah,
But
I
from
think- I
even
think so.
before the Balfour Declaration, all of that, before
Yeah.
the current borders, everything from the beginning.
I agree.
And it wasn't after World War II. It was way back in 1920, I think, or 1917.
It's a pretty dire situation. It doesn't look like it's going to get resolved or get better anytime soon. But I still hope I'm wrong about that.
Yeah, because Israel just refused to finish the job because they make more money just having the conflict still. So if they just keep Hamas there, keep Hamas from fainting and allowing the fight, they can get more money from the U.S. And that's what Doe knows.
I'm not that cynical. I think Israel would much prefer to live without Hamas nipping at their borders than to get money from the. I don't think they're tolerating Hamas for profit.
I think they are, because
Besides,
they
the
have
U.S.
more
is
than enough
essentially the ones
firepower to
funding
go ahead
Hamas.
and-
So we essentially funded Hamas with the money we gave them in exchange for hostages.
We didn't fund Hamas. Like, we can't control what they spend that money on.
We shouldn't have given
The
them
money might have
so it's
found
not-
its way there, but that's not the same as us. I don't fund your drug use if I pay you $100 for legitimately for a service you provide and you go spend it on drugs. That's not me funding your drug use.
Fair enough.
That's what I'm saying.
Israel has
Keep
more than enough
distorting and
firepower to
warping
completely
narratives, and
erase
it's going to cause
Palestine.
division. I'm already seeing it.
I'm on your side about it. I still don't think the U.S. did the right thing in regards to that prisoner exchange for money. Yeah, like John said, it's not funding, but it's enabling. Yeah,
Well, maybe not, but that's different than framing it as they're funding Hamas.
No, we're not intentionally funding the terrorism, but we still enabled it. I mean, because I don't think it's a coincidence that we just paid that money to them a few months ago, and then now we're in this situation. So, I mean, it's like they took that money and they were like, great. It's like a kid.
And it's
getting-
also not like Hamas was not going to do anything the minute they got the chance, no matter what, anyway, because they've been doing it for almost 100 years.
Yeah.
Over 100 years, actually. We're in 23.
A lot of them apparently have the weapons we
So
sent
to
to
try to
Ukraine, too,
tie the
so-
U.S. into this just seems I question the motive of.
Yeah, the use is on the internet because they want our money. Both sides want our money.
No, John, we disagree. I don't control what people spend their money on. Especially, I
Yeah,
don't
you-
even know
you-
when I give you the money. I'm not following you around after that to even see what you spend it on.
Yeah,
Right. Well,
You
I
come
guess
on.
at the same time, though, you can't be shocked whenever they show up high later to your house, right? I mean, you can't control that, but you can't really be shocked when they do the thing that they've always
Maybe not, but I think of all the issues going on right now, like the where Hamas got their money is not even. I don't know. It bothers me somehow that people are adding that strand into the narrative.
well,
I'm editing-
Israel also gets a lot of money from us. So
Yeah,
Well-
because they're a Western liberal democracy, and it's to our advantage to help them thrive.
yes, but I don't think Israel's going to completely. They're going to do surgical strikes to kind of mitigate the problem. Not really, because Hamas is genocidal.
You could make the argument that Israel was more tolerant than maybe they should have been. I mean,
Okay.
it's hard to fault tolerance, but I think it might have been a strategic blunder.
Oh, hey, Jack. What's up, man?
Hello.
Welcome.
Welcome.
Sorry. Boy going off near to me. I think you can make an argument that both sides have been both tolerant and also violent towards each other. And I'm not sure where I fall and how the conversation's going, because I think that blame the people involved, but also I think that all wars and all terrorism and all this stuff always needs funding. And so, I think that the funding is an important component, because without logistics and funding, these kind of things aren't going to happen. And also, some of the conversations I had recently kind of leads me to believe that, it's hard to believe that this is just a bunch of people in the desert organizing this. I mean, it's kind of like believing Osama bin what and did that event in 2001 all by himself. Like, there's money, there's funding, there's organization, that there's protection by governments that probably have to take place in order to put infrastructure in place to facilitate such things going on. And I'll tell you, like, my personal evidence for this, and this is not like evidence in court, but like if you go look at the Hamas propaganda videos going around, like it looks like Hollywood shot. I mean, it just looks like ridiculously well produced, and it's like, it's kind of somebody's putting some sort of effort behind this. And this is kind of what me and No Jay, I guess, what we're talking about yesterday. We're like, I'm not sure exactly what the angle is here, but like some Muslims are saying that Jews did this to, are making up a narrative to make it seem like all the Muslims are complicit in this. And then the Jews are saying that these guys, that, so, I mean, it's not really one group. There's a diversified opinion on both sides is kind of what I'm saying. But like, we're given a very narrow narrative view of both sides as well. So, you know what I mean? It's kind of like information warfare, in my opinion, where we don't really understand the complexity. But I will say, of course, I denounce anyone who's doing, killing kids and civilians for apparently no reason whatsoever. I mean, I think it's a very difficult situation we find ourselves in, but I also just think it's like, it's really hard to understand what's behind it. I think that people can argue probably pretty well that Iran and Russia are probably involved in at least the funding, if not more logistics and stuff like that. So again, with the Hamas stuff. And so I don't know if that's true, but I tend to believe that more than it's just a bunch of dudes in the desert who picked up some weapons one day and decided to go do this. Like, I don't think that's the case personally.
Well, that's a good question. And I'm interested in why you believe that. But they have been picking up weapons and doing this for 100 years on their own. So it doesn't take Russia or Iran. It just takes an opportunity for them to carry out this attack. And I heard that Iran was involved too. So I just did some Googling, and all of the major news organizations are saying there's no hard evidence. They're not saying they're not, but there's not saying that currently there's evidence that they are.
Yeah, and it could be the U.S. involved. It could be the Iranians. It could be the Russians, or it could just be a group. But I think overall, my thing is like an escalation of war probably isn't going to benefit anyone on any side, is kind of what I'm saying. Like, I don't think the average Muslim is out there looking for Jews to kill. I don't think the average Jews out there looking for Muslims to kill. And I don't think Christians really should be fighting on either side of these wars anymore, because like, I think my personal opinion of the wars for the last 100 years, and probably longer, from World War I onwards, I don't think they were necessary by any stretch of the imagination. I think that people were given some, frankly, bullshit excuse to go slaughter, each other. And I don't think that there's really any good reason for that right now. And, I don't know. I mean, my suspicion is very high just because of my background. Like when they say like, 40 babies were killed and beheaded or something, like, I'm not saying it's not true, but I just find it very, I'm very skeptical, like when the Iraq war happened, they put some little girl in front of Congress and said, they were throwing babies out of incubators and Of course, 10 years later or whatever, you find out that that's bullshit, So I'm just saying, or weapons of mass destruction, and then 10 years later, it's bullshit. It's like, I'm very skeptical that we know exactly what's going on and that we should trust the narrative that we're given. I'm not saying that it's not true. All I'm saying is, like, I think caution is the better path than assuming, in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
There
I
was
think
a
so too.
reporting earlier today about the 40 babies were killed or something, like, were beheaded or something like that, and people are already casting doubt upon that, whether or not it's real or not. So yeah, it's really, I mean, trying to discern what's true or not in the news these days is like a job unto itself. So I don't even know what to say about any of that shit.
That's why I try to only go off of like things that are factual. Like, we know that
Yeah,
there was an attack on Israel. We know that the music fest was attacked and 200 something people died. We know that the villages around the border were attacked. So those are facts we can go with. And we know that Israel probably did attack themselves. So it was Hamas.
yeah.
And even that's enough. I don't need 40 babies to justify a response to that.
Yeah, and I agree with you, and I think that's kind of, but I think that's also, like, the thing that bothers me the most is, like, it's so easy to find justification for violence. Like, it is really easy, honestly. Like, I mean, I think it's far easier than people want to admit. But I also think that, it's I think a lot of what we see is meant to engage you emotionally, whether it's true or not. I think, an emotional reaction to something like this is not the correct thing, because, that's kind of like how, massive wars where millions of people die. So, like, people get pissed off and they just react a little too quickly. And again, I'm not saying don't defend, but I think offensive attacks in the name of, like the whole second Iraq war with George W. Bush. Well, this dude in a cave in Pakistan or Afghanistan attacked us, therefore we need to go to Iraq and preemptively prevent something else happening. You know what I mean? Like, that's a very slippery slope, because then you kind of justify that for the other side as too. You know what I mean? Like,
Do you think that's the case here?
I don't think, whether it's a conspiracy or not, I think that people can easily use it in such a manner. Does that make sense? Like,
Israel's not saying let's go to Iran and attack. They're attacking the exact group that the attack came from.
Oh no, I understand that, but what I'm saying is, like, kind of like how hidden alliances at the beginning of World War One and necessarily led to a chain reaction is kind of what I'm saying. You know what I mean? Like, we don't really know what's at play here. Like, Hamas might just want freedom for their country, but there might be other interests that
they want the elimination of Israel. It's in their charter.
No, I agree. But
they've been consistent about this for decades.
No, I totally agree. But what I'm saying is, there's probably other secret motivations of people that either are affiliated with them directly, or who perhaps want to take advantage of the situation for some other reason. Whether it be in the United States or in Russia or Iran or Syria, or who knows. I mean, that's what I'm saying. We don't know how like, look at someone like Rahm Emanuel, who says, "Don't let a good crisis go to waste." It's not because of who he is that I mention that. It's just like, that attitude is a very dangerous attitude. That's kind of what I'm trying to get at. People.
Did y'all see announcement from the Hamas guy about Friday? Here, I'll share it.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, I didn't. I
Could
didn't
be
see that.
important. Okay, Khalid Marshall, the lead, gave a speech today asking Muslims all around the world to do the following: to show anger, especially on Friday, in Muslim countries and also Muslim diaspora around the world. He asked for financial help, political pressure for Muslim leaders, and he asked all Muslims around the world to carry jihad by their souls, to fight and martyr themselves for Al-Aqsa, to fight against Jews. So he's putting out a call for some kind of action on Friday around the world.
Yeah, I actually did see this now.
And he wants them to show up at Israel at the border too and help fight Israel, which I doubt anyone's going to do.
Well,
So they're saying to be careful on Friday. But why would they announce it? Like they didn't announce the attack on Israel. Why would they give warning about anything?
For terror.
Yeah, to scare
I don't
people.
feel terrified.
Well, we don't live there.
No, it's all around the world.
But this is the other thing that kind of concerns me is like, like look how Black Lives Matter supposedly comes out and said, and just, wholesale blank check says, oh, Hamas did nothing wrong. Or, it's like, why would some organization like Black Lives Matter do such a thing? It doesn't really make sense to me personally. Like, you just see what I'm saying? Like, why would it? There's no tactical advantage of doing such a thing. Like all that's going to do is cause like extreme division within the United States. So
yeah, I very much suspect the motives of BLM. I don't know why they would do that either, other than to create the unrest that you just said. And I don't know if it's because they profit off of it or ideologically they are committed to this mission. It even says in this speech, this will send a message of rage to Zionists and to America.
Well, and I'll just mention this real quick because this is kind of the undertone of what I was trying to say yesterday. Like, I find it also curious because now you have these like anti-Zionist white Christian people who are going to have to say, oh, well, am I going to choose the side of BLM and Hamas against the Jews because I don't like Jews? See what I mean? It's like, it's a very weird conundrum. And I think for me, if I was a Machiavellian, you've totally splintered all these power bases that had formed in
I think it's going to
Yeah, well, I am a Machiavellian. I just want to know why. What power base would I form with this split? It doesn't make much sense.
Oh no! What I mean is they've broken power bases. Like, for example, like how Christians and Muslims were against some of this woke stuff. They were protesting together at some of these like New York City and LA County schools and stuff like that. Now all of a sudden, they're going to be suspicious of each other, and they're going to be fighting over this this whole other thing. And again, like, I'm very sympathetic to all groups involved in this because, again, I think most average people, whether you're a Christian, Muslim, Jew, atheist, Satanist, whatever, I don't think that you're out there trying to actually go and destroy humanity. You know what I mean? So you're not trying
to pull a jihad.
But for American Christian, American Muslims are going to be split because of a real estate war in the Middle East, and they're just stupid.
I think we're headed for another political realignment, just like happened after George Floyd. Like, we have far left progressive already aligning themselves with radical Muslim terrorists. Like, whoever saw that coming? And even in my group, there's
the left uses the same tactics. So
yeah, I think BLM, for example, I think they actually admire Hamas. I think that they supporting them because they wish they could do that. That's what they can do,
and have done better than Hamas. I mean, they don't get. They don't get the state as a whole going after them because they're not colonized. In this respect, they have more control of state than Palestine has over the area. So,
hi, Patty.
Hi, Patty.
And hi, Joshua. Welcome.
Yeah. That's the same thing.
What's your thoughts? Are you there?
Well, I'll say one more thing really quick, and I'll jump off just for a little bit. But the last thing I'll say is like, what sticks out to me personally is like after the George Floyd and BLM stuff, like obviously some, at least where I live, the amount of, I will say, crime has exploded, particularly in some different demographics, and I don't think that that's like a total conspiracy, but it's kind of like the ideology kind of seeped into the general culture, and it's kind of been taken under advisement. You see what I'm saying? And I think that's kind of my concern as well. But also, like you said, it's just very weird how people look at that kind of action that Hamas did as inspiration of some sort. And I just see, but also, like you said, I think it's going to force a political realignment, which, I don't know if that's going to be quote unquote good or not, but it is very interesting, to say the least, in my opinion. So I'll jump off for now, but I'll listen and I'll try to jump back in later.
Okay. Right, well, thanks for coming on and sharing that.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. Bye, guys.
Yeah, I'm already noticing the shift, even in my own circles. It's the same thing that happened in 2020 when all my little tight-knit close groups started to divide over politics. And now it's dividing over the Israel-Hamas thing. Joshua said he'll be right back.
Yeah, so I just responded to him.
Man, I'm used to this stuff, so I'm living in debate community, so I'm used to this.
You're in the what?
I'm even in a lot of debate communities, so I'm in a modern day debate Discord. So it's not normal for you, but it's normal for me. I don't care.
What's normal? Just people talking about this stuff.
People disagreeing on stuff.
Oh yeah,
I mean, like it's not so much
conversation. It's fine.
It's not so much disagreeing. I don't have a problem with that. It's judging your friends and then changing how you relate to them based on their opinions. Yeah, that I'm not used to. Like until 2020, I've never had a friend cancel me or end a friendship over my political opinions. It was just understood that people can have diverse political opinions and still all be friends.
Yeah, that's been happening to me since 2007. So
I think
what happened in
incredibly
07?
Unhealthy.
Happened in 07. Just residual from Bush stuff, and I guess it's pretty much 07 is the first time where the dynamics affected me, but I've seen it since 01. I think one of the market crash happened in 07, but I've seen it since 01, but 07's when the effects started to work on me. So
how old are you, Hank?
31.
31? Well, you would have been pretty young then. I mean, you would have been like what, 15? 14?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, you said 2001.
This must be a generational issue because it just has a stronger effect on millennials than X Gen.
I mean, those years had a strong effect on me, but I mean, 2001, of course, that affected everybody who lives in this country, I suppose. But 2007 is the year my first daughter was born. But I was just trying to figure out like how I was like maybe Hank's a lot older than I thought he was. I was thinking.
No, I just have a lot of mileage.
So, yeah, I've got a lot of mileage too. I understand that. I was just thinking like, damn, if he was really that severely affected by post-Bush era stuff, then how old is he? Anyway, yeah. Not that you can't be affected by it. I guess I didn't get as affected by things like that at 15, 14 as a lot of people did, maybe.
Yeah, I was a teabagger then too, so.
At 15 in high school?
Yes.
2001?
No. 2007.
2007.
Oh, okay.
You said you were affected.
I thought it didn't start until 08 after Obama was elected.
Yeah, that's when we kicked in.
09.
That's when it just started to bubble and stuff. That's why I could notice the change.
I remember when it started because I had my meetup group, and it was the largest recreational meetup group in the city, and it was at the top of the rankings constantly. So every time I pull up the site, I'd see my group at the top. And one day I pulled it up, and there was this group that said Tea Party, and it had bumped my group down to number 2 like overnight. And I'm like, what? I thought it was a tea group, like people that like to get together and drink tea. And I'm like, what is this Tea Party group, and why is my group number 2 now? And I started reading it, and I noticed it was this political group called the Tea Party. Like it sprung up literally overnight, and got bigger. It got bigger than my group, which had at least 1,000.
That would have been a funny skit back then to like it was like a podcast called the Tea Party, but they literally were just like a bunch of people like having an actual tea party, but people keep calling in to like yell about Obama or whatever. Like, yeah, we're
speaking of
Tea Party.
Hey, we're supposed to talk about our game thing. You said you were having second thoughts.
Not second thoughts. I just the more I thought about it, I think I was overthinking it, to be honest. But I was just trying to imagine like the actual real world scenario of trying to keep this thing on track, because it's really not that much. The people hosting it's going to be the ones really being put through it, because they have to be there through the whole thing. I guess they can switch out though.
Yeah, we might have
I'm
to
just
have a team
trying to
of
figure out
hosts.
activities and stuff to keep the thing going, because you don't want it to turn into just a thing where people are just staring at their cameras like slack-jawed, like not saying anything. You gotta constantly be like introducing things to keep the conversation, the debate going, or whatever it is.
Trolls.
Trolls, things like that. Yeah.
I like the idea of trolls, and I like the idea of maybe periodically, especially if it ever gets monetized. Like once the super chat gets to a certain amount, then they do a vote or something and gradually start narrowing it down. So there's things that could trigger possibilities for somebody to get kicked.
Right, like kind of similar, like how like Fortnite works or whatever. You got like where the borders of the map start closing in and it gets smaller and smaller.
Yeah, so we
But
need a
in
way to
stream
kick
form.
Cecil from falling asleep on stream. So
Cecil
No,
can't.
yeah.
Cecil is not eligible because
Not
he
eligible.
he was too good at this.
Well, no, but he
you
just
know
goes to
he should
sleep
be
on stream.
eligible, absolutely. But I just want to kick him because I think he's a
So,
threat. He just comes on stream, just fall asleep right in front of the camera. I want somebody to kick him.
Well, they kicked. I guess TML did kick him last night, or did he just do that himself?
Did himself.
I thought TML backstaged him, but apparently he left on his own.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he left us alone.
Okay.
So for anyone out there wondering, we're trying. We have this idea of doing a live stream to see who can stay on the longest, and so we're recruiting for like a little group to experiment with initially, like a pilot run. So if you're
Right.
possibly interested in something like that, just contact us. You can email me at Gmail at the same handle as my Twitter handle, Primal Hex. And once we get enough people, how many to start? 8, maybe 10. You can only have 10 total, so we need room for some hosts.
Yeah, it would be 8. I think would be the maximum.
Yeah, 8.
So maximum of 8, like 6 to
Get
8.
started
I
with
think
6,
to
that
start
would be fine,
fine. So as soon as we have 6 to 8 people that want to run it, and then we just need to find a day where we can do it.
Well, at least 3 days. I mean, who knows how long that would take? Some of these people, man, they have like they have no problem living, eating, shitting on stream. So
Sleeping, I know, yeah.
we can't allow that. We can't do.
Hey, Steve.
Hey, Steve.
You,
why don't you come on?
Yeah, you can come on if you want. We were just chatting, mostly about the Israel thing, but we can talk about whatever's on your mind. There was an article on men's mental health that I got sent today about why men withdraw in relationships. So that has some potential too.
All right, Steve. That's cool. So he's doing chores and stuff.
Oh, chores and stuff. Well, you can do chores later. We only on for a few hours. Or actually, I don't have anything until tonight. Survivor comes on, so I could actually go as long as people want today.
Sounds good. Yeah, I don't have anything planned as usual too. I just got usual like. I know Hank's like he's in it for the long haul every time. So, but I guess you do have a job though, don't you, Hank?
Oh yeah, I worked like 44 hours and 44 minutes last week. 44 hours, 44 minutes. So I actually have an actual job. I don't control the start time. Then I have a lot of other activities where I do stuff with other people. I go to church. So I have a life. So I won't be able to just stick on stream the whole time, especially since it won't make me money.
Right.
That is true.
Understand.
So, hey, I wanted to hear that church story. You ended up mowing their grass somehow?
Oh yeah. So pretty much, the local UU church that I go to, Sunny Hill, is pretty much has the same kind of thing as the LDS churches do, but they get the church path where you contribute your skills to the church. And I think one guy who's also like a tech program guy helps with lawn maintenance stuff. And I said, yeah, I'll just go ahead and help him if I can just I'd like to get my contributions in early so I can have a strong reputation to start with. So I think a month ago, I got some training on how to use tractor. Then last week I used the tractor around this time to mow the lawn a bit, and they're gonna get their pumpkins in on the 15th, I think.
Is it part of your Machiavellian plot to infiltrate the Unitarian Universalist network?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, they're like that. I've been searching for like an organization that has a same worldview as me, and they're the closest.
The closest to Discordianism?
Yes, absolutely.
They just seem like leftists to me. They don't seem all that
Very
Discordian.
progressive.
Seems like they're more
They're
into
woke.
authoritarian
Yes,
control.
but
They're the
here's
ones that published White Fragility.
Here's the thing: they don't have a dogma. They don't have a dogma officially, and neither do I. We all use CatMub, we use context dependency, and we are visually aware of this power structure, egregores, and stuff. So the last sermon was on Mr. Rogers.
Oh, what did it say? I love that movie. I've watched that movie.
No, Fred Rogers.
Yeah, I know Mr.
Oh, okay,
Rogers.
yes.
What did
the
it?
documentary or the Tom Hanks movie?
No, the documentary.
Documentary is really good. Yeah, the
It
Tom
was
Hanks
really
movie is
really
terrible.
good. What
Yeah.
was the? Give me the
Synopsis.
Mr. Rogers sermon.
I don't remember those sermons. I'm not the preacher, but one thing I learned from is that Mr. Rogers he became as a reverend himself, but he went to TV because he hated TV. I didn't know he hated anything at all, but he hated the way slapstick round TV that was just miseducating children, and that's why he made his show. So I actually learned something.
Yeah, I can't imagine him hating anything or ever getting angry at all until I saw him in front of Congress that day, and I'm like,
Yeah.
whoa!
Yeah,
He was a badass.
This man has
Fred
some
Rogers was
fire
awesome,
in him.
Awesome guy. Do you know who else is surprisingly kind of a badass was what's God, my stupid brain, the guy that did the painting, Bob Ross.
Bob Ross,
was
yes.
he was a freaking World War II sniper. That's what he was a sergeant in the military. He was a sniper in World War II.
Wow.
That guy was a badass. Part of the reason his whole thing was being all quiet and peaceful was because he felt like it was a way to, like, a corollary to his days in the military service. He wanted something that was calm and peaceful because his whole life had been so chaotic before that. I thought that was insane when I learned that. I was just like, I had no idea.
Yeah.
He also, his whole concept of like happy accidents whenever he would make mistakes and stuff, I think is also a brilliant philosophy to incorporate into anyone, is to like look at things when there's accidents or a spill or something that goes wrong. You incorporate it instead of trying to like start over, because you can. That's what I personally adhere to that with when I make music or something. Just if I make a mistake and while making a track, I just try to like go with it and look at it as an opportunity to create something unique.
Yes.
I personally think that's a brilliant philosophy to incorporate into your life, especially if you're an artist.
Yeah.
Well, Brian Eno had those. What were they called? Those cards he made when he was making his Tiger Mountain album. Let me look them up. Where anytime there was like an error or a little accident, he would pull a card. It would tell him. Oblique strategies.
Oblique strategies.
And like, so he would like pull a card. It would just tell him some random something to do, and he would change the music based on whatever this card said. And he made a whole album that way, using these cards to create happy little accidents.
Yeah. I mean, people use tarot cards to do the same thing. But it's
when I lived in Vegas, I met a dicer who he carried around dice. He lived his whole life by dice. He rolled dice for everything. Like what turn left or right on the sidewalk, what to order off the menu, everything. His whole day was determined by dice rolls.
Well,
it was a thing. It was a trend
for my taste. Might go a little bit far.
So it's giving him a life of a D&D character, pretty much.
Kinda.
there's this movie that's kind of similar to that, like where like they took this
Oh.
this director Lars von Trier.
Oh
He
yeah, I know him.
yeah, but you know the have you heard of the Five Obstructions? It's a documentary where he goes and to this filmmaker that he studied under in college, and this guy had made this really short film. It's like 2 minutes or something like that, and he challenges his teacher to remake the short film 5 different ways, each time with a different limitation or obstruction, as he calls it, and the way it vastly changes the short film every time. That's what the documentary is about, and now the challenges it was for him to make them with these 5 obstructions. And I think it's a beautiful illustration of how limitations can create art in ways that absolute freedom cannot. Absolute freedom can be so stifling and terrifying. Now, I'm not saying freedom is bad. Don't get me wrong. But in artistic expression, though, having limitations or constraints on you actually it's actually kind of waters creativity, waters that soil, because of the fact that, just not having no idea what direction to go in can be so terrifying.
Yeah. The paradox of choice slows you down.
This? I know that from just trying to pick out movies at Blockbuster. I literally spend 3 hours. I'm not even exaggerating.
No, I've been there too. I used to work at a video store, and I used to love it because of the fact that I would be there all the time, and it made it easier for me to think about and figure out what I wanted to watch. Seriously, I
did that when I worked in the bookstore. Like, I would shop while I worked, and my whole paycheck went to the pile of books that would accumulate as I was working.
Definitely.
Is this a good one to add to our movie list? It looks good.
It might be worth watching. I don't know if it's available from streaming anywhere. I just wanted to mention it just because I think it's a really cool concept of an idea. I wouldn't even say the movie itself is as entertaining as I think the concept is, but the movie's still entertaining. It's still worth watching. Definitely, it's only an hour and a half too. It was
I
pretty
did just in case we run out of things, which I'm sure
we're not going to run out anytime soon. It's on like everything. It looks like it's a movie on Canopy, which Canopy I have a subscription.
Oh, I have Canopy.
Yeah, it's on Canopy.
Okay,
so
well maybe I'll just check it out
free then. What else? I was also going to mention the other night. Another one I put on the list on my side of it was I think that one of the because we've been talking about collectivism versus community, and I think one of the greatest, and I don't know, maybe in terms of Hollywood terms, might be the most individualist movie ever, in terms of like the philosophy of individualism and and people that follow it to a fault, you might say. Have you ever seen The World's End?
The Wolves Inn?
The World's End. The World's End.
Negative.
The World's End. It was the same guys that did the Shaun of the Dead, and we talked about Hot Fuzz. The World's End. Yeah.
I did see Hot Fuzz. So The World's End?
Yeah, The World's End.
Okay.
It was the third of the Shaun of the Dead, and the Shaun of the Dead, and then Hot Fuzz, and then this are considered like a loose trilogy because it's the same people that made the movies. And that movie, I'm not going to spoil it if you haven't seen it. But if you haven't seen it, then all I'll say is it's the message of the movie, if you can call it that. I don't think it really has a message, but it's about characters that are so staunchly individualistic, to a fault. And I'll just leave it at that. But it's a really great film when it comes to the ideas of collectivism versus community. It's literally a clash between a small community and a collective is what the movie is ultimately about. So, yeah, I think it's a really good illustration of that concept is that movie.
It's on the list.
Especially if we're going to be talking about that particular concept anymore, I think it's definitely a great one to put out there because it's such a good illustration of it. And it's one of these things, it has an ending that makes you feel kind of ambiguous about things, but at the same time you can't help but be on the individualist side, so
well, don't spoil it. You said you weren't going to spoil it.
I'm not going to spoil it anywhere. I mean, I'm not
well, I know, but even telling me that now I know I'm supposed to be on the individualist side. Well, okay, here's Josh.
You could be on the collectivist side. I just don't think you would be. I just know what side.
I know, but even telling me that is kind of a spoiler.
Okay, I'll leave it at that. I won't talk about it anymore.
Okay.
I get excited.
Welcome, Joshua. Did you get your mic to work?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it's working great. I can hear you.
You plugged it in. Yay.
Yeah, that's probably about what it was to plug it in. I think that's where I messed up.
Oh,
Yeah, what I do is I have my mics. I have my camera mic on a switch, so I can just unplug it with a button. So it only turns on when I want it on.
Oh, I don't know. I got a Windows update and forgot to change something. I really don't know.
Oh, that's running. That's a big problem. You should get rid of Windows. Try Fedora, Linux.
Yeah, I do way too much document files to get rid of Windows. I'm stuck with it.
You mean just documents, like just the Office documents that you can open with literally any operating system, those kind of things?
Probably a lot of them and a lot of weird stuff that I don't even know what it does.
Well, Linux, I can open documents too on Linux, so it's not a big deal. It hasn't been a big deal for 30 years.
Libretto, is that the right name? I can't remember. But yeah, but there's good like word replacements, and honestly, Google Docs all I ever use anymore. But I understand where you're coming from because I have too many Windows specific programs that do not run well in Wine because I've used Linux off and on for years. So
that's what keeps me locked into.
Yeah, me too.
But I really
it's like being abused.
Huh?
Well, Wine doesn't always run that well. It doesn't run everything the way I want it to. I long for the day when they will perfect Wine integration into Linux, where it can just run any exe file as smoothly as Windows can. But
Windows doesn't run the SCT smooth, so Wine has to re-implement the crappiness of Windows, so the run is just as bad, at least.
I know. I run Ubuntu right now on my Plex server, so I mean, I still use Linux every day. But I mean, for like streaming and stuff like this, I haven't tried it for streaming. Maybe it'll work really well. I don't know because I haven't done it. But
Joshua, go ahead.
No, I just ain't got time to screw around with Linux. If it ain't on a server, I ain't touching it. I'll just go into the store, buy a computer, and be done with it. I don't give a shit. It's got Windows. That's what I'm using.
Let's buy another hard drive. Then it's not a big deal.
I'm not buying another damn hard drive. Screw that. Damn things are getting expensive. Everything about a computer is getting expensive. Getting irritated with that.
It got really
because buying a goddamn mini computer is so much cheaper 50 years ago for $20 million. It's just $100 for a couple for 5 terabytes now.
I'm guessing Jeff's going to ask me about the war in Israel. He's really not going to like my answer.
To Tech Talk is what I'm saying. Yeah. So, do you have any thoughts?
Cascadian?
Yeah, I kind of. It's not a moral claim. It's really just based on I'm tired of the.
Sorry, it's hard to talk because of all the background noise. Because I'm not at home right now.
Just jump in.
I just thought I'd hop on briefly.
Okay,
you're welcome.
So I'm basically tired of the last 60 years with the Israel crap. So my final solution, and I'm using that word explicitly, or that phrase anyways, final solution is to just go through the Gaza Strip, level the damn thing. They already started it off right. They told all the civilians, get the hell out. Just go through and bomb the crap out of it. Then send in ground troops and just get rid of anybody that's standing in the street, buildings, windows, whatever, and just get rid of it. Be done with it. And the lesson that we can all learn from this is do not allow a majority of foreigners to basically sit up in your property. Otherwise, they're going to vote you out. You become the minority, they vote you out, take it over. It's that simple. If you don't defend your home, you're going to lose it. It's been the story of all of history.
Yep. And Josh, I found a 3 terabyte hard drive for $40 on Amazon. So
okay,
is that within your budget?
I got no bias. I don't particularly care one way or another. I'm not pro-Jew or anti-Islam or anything. I'm just tired of it. And the easiest way to deal with a problem is to nuke the shit out of it.
Well, there might be ramifications from that, but that would be one of the emotional reactions I think that Jack was on here talking about earlier. I mean, that's what we did for Pearl Harbor.
Right. But nukes, even though they're a good deterrent, they're less likely to be used in warfare just because of like the ramifications of it. And I don't really see a lot of countries being really eager to press the button.
Yeah, don't I didn't mean nukes literally. That would just basically
right. It was all figurative, right?
scorched earth process.
Yeah,
just basically go through and take it.
because
I
they're
do
so
think-
much more friendly than nukes. It's
But,
so
but
much
then,
more
then
humane.
there's the theory that they're like part of the tactic is to bait Israel into doing something just like that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, but this is the same thing that happens here. They do it to us. We do it to other countries. This is normal. This is like status quo stuff. There's nothing abnormal about this.
Well, I've heard like theories that like Hamas and potentially maybe Hezbollah later on are going to try to get Israel to have ground troops so Israel kind of exhaust a lot of its resources and just make this like a war of attrition where Israel starts to just kind of like drain its resources over time.
It would be technically the smart move would just be to surround it, cut it off from the Egyptian part, do the naval blockade on the other side, and just basically starve them out. That would be the smart way about it. The problem with that is you've seen how people are. Remember 9/11 with us? You start blowing some shit up on our own home turf, people start getting real pissy. They'll enlist him with the military, and everybody wants blood.
So
Yeah, people are eager for that a lot of times. I know, like with the United States, a lot of younger people aren't falling for the propaganda as much as people did, after September 11th. But at the same time, because like, sorry, I'm getting all tongue tied because like with X, they were like, no, I won't labor. Oh, you're only supposed to do 2 minutes. Yeah, 2 minutes.
Hi, honey.
Oh, you're
Have the
pretty good.
dishes done. Wash. Take out the clothes or take out the trash before I get home. Yeah, I've been there several
I love
times.
these live raw moments.
No,
who
it's just Katie was on this thing that was holding her kind of like upside down. And she didn't have the strength to pull herself back up, so I didn't want her.
Get good, Katie.
I get the animosity. I get everybody has like feelings one way or another. And I definitely get the concept that everybody wants to sit around and talk about like the morals, the right and wrong of killing civilians. But at the end of the day, it never changes anything. If you are civilian and you are in a battleground in some way, this is just how it works.
Well, I just think it's ridiculous that you get people like Ben Shapiro just being thirsty for blood, and he's like the same type of person that's never going to put on a military uniform and go out there on the front lines.
It's not what old people do. We don't send old people to fight, and we put the old people up behind, put them behind a desk. They get up there, and they pretty much are the governing body. It's always been that way.
I do get the feeling, I mean, who here agrees with the following statement? That if Hamas had access to nuclear weapons, they would probably drop them on Israel. I mean, I feel like that's the case. That if Hamas could, they would. I don't think that there's much humanitarian sympathy that could be had for them, because if they could just push the button, they're a group that would do it, as long as the casualties were Jews.
The only reason I would disagree with that is because it would be basically like suicide. Well, I mean, I guess if you're doing that whole like
suicide bomb.
Yeah.
Suicide bombs.
If you're doing that, the problem is you'd end up killing a whole bunch of Palestinians too. So you'd end up killing almost everybody, or at least a large portion of everybody.
Do they care?
Yeah, I
don't know. Like this idea of who cares about what to me is just strange. Once the first shot is fired, morals go right out the door.
Well, I mean, I'm agreeing with you, by the way. I mean, I'm agreeing. I'm not arguing against what you're saying. I'm saying, like, I do feel like Hamas would push that button if it was, if they had the ability to do so. So I'm saying that what you're saying is probably justified in that sense, as long as proper evacuation chance is given. I mean, maybe that's justified. I don't know. I don't like it.
But I don't even give it a moral justification. I get it to like it ends to a means. If you get down to a certain path, you don't get to just turn around and walk backwards down that path. You got to keep going. Whoever wanted this war, whoever wanted this fight, they got it.
Right.
I'm fairly convinced that it's going to get even uglier than it is now. We're going to start seeing streams on TV, dead bodies. It'll be like the Vietnam concept where it's not going to be a lot of TV, or there's not going to be like a lot of video of like, a frontal war where two sides are shooting at each other. It's just going to be a lot of video of dead kids on the streets.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's been some of that already. Although I think from what I've seen, a lot of it has been repurposed footage from past years and months that people have been trying to say is happening right now, which I think is weird. If it's really that bad, then where's the need to invent things? I don't understand why they feel the need to invent things when things are already bad enough. I don't get that. That's kind of strange to me.
Because somebody wants war. I have no clue who. I don't even know if Hamas really wanted this fight. I don't actually know if Israel really wanted this fight. What I do know is a lot of people do want this fight. Now they got it.
Yeah, a lot of corporations sell military gear want this fight.
Could be. I don't know how far down a conspiracy theory I would go, is like saying, Boeing decided that they, wanted to put a false flag in there and trigger a fight. But
Raytheon or who
well, it's hard to believe Hamas didn't want this fight.
Yeah, that's kind of in their stated charter. They've
want
this fight.
It's been a long time. Well, like I said,
for someone who doesn't want to fight, you don't take the actions that they took.
I've got no clue. Aren't we all still like in a state of shock where we're just like, crap, that many rockets decided to get fired just randomly? They decided today we wanted to.
I'm not. I mean, they got you're getting hand-me-down rockets from, what's that called?
Oh, you can make your own rockets. It's not a big deal.
Yeah.
Not that short of a distance, anyways.
Yeah, but they're probably getting hand-me-down rockets from the Ukraine fight. That's making it onto Craigslist or something.
Yeah, but the question is really about like, why now? Why today? Why not like last year or the year before or some other time, right? Why now? That would be a curious question I would have.
How do you go about answering that?
No fucking clue. I guess you'd have to have some type of insider information, and I sure as hell don't.
Interviews, probably. Who's running Hamas right now?
There was a board. I can't remember who was on it. They've been there. Several of them have been there for quite a while. Right. I think everything that's come through Department of State, everybody's like kind of shocked about it. Like nobody. Well, the way they're talking, nobody knows nobody saw it coming. So I would assume that DOD probably didn't know it was coming. I don't know what Israel thinks.
All right, well, they need to get up and do their job and figure out why the conflict started, so we can actually resolve.
Oh, well, we know why the conflict started.
Yeah, but we don't know why today. Why happened.
Yeah, that one I got no clue.
Well, they need to figure that out for us, please.
It does seem a little bit random, at least on face value.
Well, wasn't it one of their holy days? People think there may be some.
Oh yeah, anniversary of Yom Kippur. Yeah.
That's not Hamas's holy day.
No, it's their enemy's holy day.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a pretty common tactic. They the anniversary of any previous attack or something like that, doing either a retaliation attack in honor of it or trying to replicate the same violence on their enemies, that sort of thing. Like that's what they do. I guess they in their heads it gives it more justification or something like that. I don't know what they
demoralizing.
No, that makes sense.
You're a Machiavellian. You should know that.
The thing is, I'd like to not be predictable, so.
Hey, adaptable.
Predictable.
The only reason they're not getting rolled is because most of the people in charge of the countries don't want to roll them. I mean, so it's really wasting resources.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. We should probably just move on from this topic because I don't think.
Yeah, everybody's. everybody's got a lot of questions and no answers that I'm aware of.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah,
problem.
but even
Like,
the
why would-
questions, I think, I like the questions.
I like the questions too, but I just feel like everybody's kind of like, I don't know. It just seems like all four of us anyway seem like we're kind of exhausted by it. I know I feel that way from it because I don't. It's just such a such a tragic situation. I mean, there's no point in. I guess it's no good in ignoring it, but I just don't know what to say about it anymore. I mean, it seems like one way or another, it's going to end up with a lot of dead people. So.
Oh, it's guaranteed to end up with a lot of dead people. That's without even
I
question.
mean, it already has.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know, but I mean a much larger number than we're looking at right now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
that's-
it's a statistic.
That's war.
But this is going to be closer to genocide, I think. So.
Well, it has to be one side or the other since there's a genocidal side in it. So
Yeah, I know. I mean,
That's
saying,
the goal of
I'm not
Hamas
saying it's
anyway.
like,
What?
I'm saying that's where it's almost got to end. I'm saying like there's
Well-
almost no way through this without it ending in that scenario. That's what I'm saying. I just like it's just.
well,
it
I don't.
sucks.
But it's no incentive for me to do anything for either side at the moment.
Anyway, I saw.
Well,
this-
we can talk
there was
about.
this-
What do you want to talk about?
No, I just saw this tweet. I was just gonna say there's a tweet that I can't tell, but from the Discord here, from a Discord thing, and it's adaptable. I just wanted to put it up there, so I'm trying to find out from him if this tweet was generated, or because he put up this tweet, and then right after he talks about like AI generated things, and he's been talking about AI
Oh,
generated
yeah.
things
I
constantly.
hadn't
So
even
I was trying to figure out if
considered.
this tweet was real or if it was AI generated.
Yeah.
This looks stupid. This looks. It's. I doubt this is reality.
It looks stupid.
Yep, you were talking about it when I was having mic problems there. Did you say you had you lost acquaintances and friends over this stupid war?
I did over the George Floyd and the woke thing, and I said I worried that the same thing's going to happen over this, even in the groups that, like all the anti-woke groups that I found as a result of that. They're starting to kind of split over this issue as well.
Yeah.
Like some of them can't. I don't understand why anybody is sympathetic to Hamas, and they're having a hard time understanding why we're not sympathetic.
I can
Hamas.
explain the ones that
And so I'm like
They're
the
about to
bad
collect-
guy that supports Israel, who's the aggressor and the oppressor over this innocent underdog Palestinian neighborhood, and I don't understand why they're falling for the Hamas propaganda.
Oh, they're
They
not.
think I'm
There's
falling for the
acceleration.
Israeli propaganda.
So yeah, those guys. So you hang over a bunch of writers. Those are just accelerationists. So they just want whatever gets them to collapse. And
for
get-
some
gets
reason,
them
people
power
look
for
at
some reason. They
this
think
from
they
a
get power
distance.
from the conflict, and they think, oh well, the Hamas is attacking. They'll get them more
My,
power.
my friends are not any of that. Whatever you're describing, these are just ordinary people like us that hang out and talk. But they're looking at it from a distance, and for some reason, people are seeing poor Hamas or poor Palestine, and just like the progressive left is doing, except these are anti-woke people who we met over our shared dislike of the progressive left and all their woke bullshit. But some of these people are having the same emotional response that the left is having.
Is it more the empathy toward the Palestinians
Yeah.
or and just Hamas just so happens to be on that side kind of concept as fighters?
Like there's some justification for Hamas because
Yeah,
of
okay.
all the suffering that the Palestinians have endured at the hands of Israel, the oppressor.
Okay, I need you to ask them. Come on, I need you to ask them or something. If they're not accelerationists, not Jew haters, then I don't really understand.
And a lot of both sides. Like it's complicated. It's both sides, and it's not complicated. We have a thriving, functioning Western liberal democracy and a terrorist, genocidal, radical Islamic state. It's not a both sides complicated thing to me.
This is why I like my position. Morals, I can just throw them right out the window. They're not needed. Just pure capitalism.
Yeah, I could throw out morals. So use Kama, so I can ignore morals.
You could
Yeah, but Capitalism can step over a lot of dead bodies of a lot of children. Doesn't particularly matter. Capitalism makes no moral grounds.
You don't
Yeah.
even have to call it
And there's
capitalism.
a lot of
Say
money
it's
being made.
pragmatism. It's just more practical that way, to be honest. I mean, in a most
I mean,
cold,
I don't
unfeeling sense you
understand
can.
why somebody would criticize Israel's right to
I don't.
respond
I'm not
after
criticizing,
this,
but I mean,
and
like,
try
I
to
don't
frame
think
Israel as somehow the perpetrator in this and Hamas as the innocent victim. I just don't understand that. I mean, it's got to be coming from some narrative that's not quite reality based.
I think the only thing that'll piss me off of it is if Israel just kind of like basically goes through and kills a bunch of people and then just stops. And the reason why I kind of disapprove of that is because, well, that just basically like kicking the can down the road. You're eventually going to have the same problem again. Might be 20 years in the future, might be 40, but it's just kicking the can down the road.
It's kind of what they've been doing this whole
Yeah,
time.
that's
So
exactly what they're
I
going to
think
do.
this is their wake up call that doesn't work.
This is
No, they're not gonna do that. They're just gonna do the same thing they've been doing because it works the best for them. Because if let's assume they got rid of all from Hamas, then pretty much, well, that's the problem solved. But then probably some other Muslims would say, "Well, we didn't get Israel because they can wipe us out next." So instead of finishing the job, they just have to do it.
Hamas terrorists are using captured women and children as human projectiles. I can't understand what the hell that would be for.
Because the other side's afraid of hitting them, so they'll use them as a wall. Then persuade them from firing.
There's no benefit. Well, at least a freshly dead body. There's no benefit of actually throwing it at an enemy. In modern medical advancements, we don't really have to worry about dead bodies passing diseases anymore. That was back in the dark ages.
I get the feeling.
We do.
I think it's supposed to be fake, first of all, and second of all, I think the idea would be for desecration. For the same reason they paraded a dead naked woman through the streets and had people spit on them or stuff like that. So I think the idea is just the desecration element. If it was real, but I think it's supposed to be fake. I'm not sure. I'm waiting for people to tell me if that is an artificial image. Okay, that's what I was. Yeah, this is the kind of disinformation that's out there right now.
I didn't look at the image. I was just reading the title. That to me doesn't make any sense because I can't think of any of the benefit for doing it.
Well,
the idea is they do it for demoralization purposes. That's all.
Oh, I forgot about the AI aspect. There's a whole bunch of fake stuff that's coming out.
Kind of brings to mind those like how much of this war is AI at this point? How much do we even know if any of this is real at this point? It's really getting weird.
Yeah, I forgot the AI aspect.
The believability of a lot of these images and stuff that have been faked or repurposed and stuff like that, and it's really hard to sort through what's real and what's not. It's really difficult.
Because what's the thing like fifth generation warfare or something? It's a different type of warfare. As war evolves, some of it becomes warfare of misinformation as opposed to boots on the ground.
Fifth generation warfare is conducted primarily through non-kinetic military actions of social engineering, misinformation, and cyber attacks, along with emerging technologies such as artificial intelligence and fully automated systems. So, yep.
Yeah, that's why I'm so cautious, and I'm sticking to what we actually know right now.
Now, what I am slightly...
we're living in the post-truth age of narrative, and so that's what we're going to be facing is narratives.
What I am slightly concerned about is our carrier fleet going in. That's going to be problematic. And it's not that like everybody's all freaking out like, oh, the U.S. is going to go in and go bombing. Nah, that's way too many aircraft and too small of a land. We're going in because of Lebanon. Well, Lebanon, possibly Jordan. This has happened again twice in the past. So I don't know. I guess they're. I know the U.S. offered air support. And at first I was like, well, that doesn't make any sense. They don't have any air force. And then I remembered Lebanon. So I think they're kind of like waiting for somebody else to get involved.
We have military bases over there, don't we already?
Yes.
So if one of Hamas's strikes the U.S. military base, then I guess that puts U.S. in the war, though, doesn't it?
Yeah. If anybody even shoots it, like even comes close to shooting at a U.S. aircraft, that's the end of it. We'll
what's
get right
scary.
in there.
Yeah, that's what's scary.
But there's a bigger problem actually with Israel. Do you guys realize that we have like 140,000 U.S. citizens there? They're probably mostly dual nationalists, but we count them as ours. Becomes a real big problem.
Yep, I know.
Yeah, but just stir the spoon in the pot and pour it out, and don't finish the dish like we always do because it makes someone money. I don't care.
There have been very few events in history where more than 30 Americans have ever been killed, and we don't go in and decimate stuff over it. It's kind of like this reputation that we almost have to maintain. That'll be kind of scary, actually. I'm not so much worried about it on the Palestinian side. I'm definitely worried about it on the Lebanon side. Maybe the Jordanian side. Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, there's obviously U.S. citizens that live in a lot of those countries, but not nearly as many that live in Israel as there is anywhere else, as far as I'm aware. So, and the fact that we have so much of a military presence there, the way Hamas doesn't seem to be too surgical in their strikes, it seems like it's almost inevitable that eventually they're going to hit a U.S. territory type thing. They're going to hit U.S. citizens, hit U.S. Military base, something like that, and then of course we're pulled into an actual serious war. So maybe
serious war that won't finish off before forces because we had to keep it going because the damn defense contractors need the money somehow. Even though we could probably have enough force to literally pave the whole thing over in 3 days tops.
Well, that wouldn't be about Palestine though. That would be more like on the other side. Just basically a hop and skip and a jump directly over Israel. You're talking about like a 10-minute flight with a fighter jet, right? There's not it's not a lot of distance there. I'm pretty sure our Navy can deal with most of it for at least a good short while, good week and a half. But it would escalate real fast. I think that's probably what concerns me the most.
Yeah, at least I know that I don't have to worry about any of my kids being put into the war, I guess, or anything like that. I don't think my daughter's very unlikely to ever get drafted or anything, and so I don't have to worry about myself. I'm far too old and decrepit at this point. So, but yeah, I still figure that for the general I'm afraid that would be a war they would actually reinstitute the draft for.
Why? They can be into the draft, but what are we fighting for? Someone else's military, real estate deal that they can't get everyone to agree on. That's a stupid war.
I mean, I know, but they did it for Vietnam, so.
Well, if they insist on going to war over real estate, then expect more real estate over here to be on the table. Because otherwise it's just a waste of our time.
I mean, I'm not saying I agree with it. I'm just saying, I'm just saying that, but that's something that seems like it's possible. I don't think it's that possible. I wouldn't put the odds over a 50-50 or less kind of shot that direction. But, I see there's a lot of bad scenarios that come out of this. And I guess there's no point in speculating, to be honest. I mean, it doesn't really do any good. But, I think it's good to kind of think through the scenarios that could lead there. If nothing else, it's a good kind of like logic puzzle to try to figure things out in terms of the way things are playing out. But
I need to make it a coherent narrative that's interesting to me before I even.
Why don't you make one?
The narrative's garbage. It's F tier so far.
Why don't you make a narrative?
My narrative is that the military contractors want some more money and they're getting greedy. So here it is. Even though they have.
I don't believe
Ukraine-Russia war. Yes, it's Ukraine being Russia, and now it's dying down. So they want some more money for Christmas.
I don't believe that narrative. I'm going out of my way to not make narratives.
That's the ENTP in you.
Maybe.
Damn.
Damn. I can't help but make narratives. It's like that used to be my job.
There's no. To me, Occam's razor. There's no point in spinning all these narratives if they don't actually apply.
Yeah, especially since we don't know if any of it's real at all at this point. Since there's so much AI.
All I know is what happened last weekend is not. That's been the pattern with Hamas for like 100 years now. It's nothing out of the ordinary. So it's not incredible to me that this is just another escalation of what they've been trying to do for a century now.
So, what's your hypothesis for why Israel didn't just solve the problem by paving over Palestine and Hamas?
It's not. It's Gaza. It's not all of Palestine. Why they didn't just?
Why they didn't just wipe them out before? Probably because they have.
Because they're showing restraint and rationality, which is a credit to them.
Yeah, exactly. They're trying to be humanitarian. That's the thing I think it sucks about it the most is that I don't think Hamas, if the situation's reversed, I don't think Hamas would have the same restraint and humanitarian side that they do. They like basically Israel can live with something like Hamas and the Palestinians living within their borders as long as like they're not trying to kill them, obviously. But Hamas or Palestine, I do not think is okay with the reverse. If they were the majority, if they were the ones in control, they would just wipe the Jews out. And I think that's incredibly sick, but that's what they would do. It's in their charter. It's what they want ideologically for some reason.
Yeah, they do not want Jews living anywhere near in that area, from the sea to the.
They consider Jews to be vermins, just like the Nazis and stuff like that, and it's ridiculous.
It's bigotry. It's religious, possibly ethnic bigotry.
Yeah, but humanitarianism is usually just an excuse to have people to dominate over, which.
Well, I mean, I don't know. It's crazy how close this is to Germany's the Nazi Germany's stance against Jews, and like this, it's just that Palestine isn't as powerful, you know.
Yeah. Well, that the charter is highly anti-Semitic. They said it's more anti-Semitic than anything the Nazis ever put out.
Yeah.
So that's why I don't. The sympathy for Hamas right now seems to come out of ignorance.
Yeah, really. Of course, I saw yet another thing about I can't remember. It wasn't queers for Palestine this time. It was something else. There was another like LGBT like for Palestine for Hamas.
That one's funny to me.
God, man! Like I just
now that is comical.
I know it's like. Yeah, no, but that was from yesterday.
Do you have an article from one of them saying why they support Palestine? Because this is just innuendo at this point. I don't even believe you if I didn't see a couple things. But
well, so the first problem is Hamas would be an Islamic group. What do you think Islam preaches about homosexuality? At least the extreme versions of it.
Well, I'm on Grindr. I don't have any Muslims bother me yet.
Right. Well, the issue with it is there's some law that pretty much has ways of dealing with it, and so the idea of any LGBT community supporting it is like saying, "Oh, I love the people that would eventually throw me off of a building if they were given the chance." That kind of concept.
Yeah. I don't care what the narrative. I want to know what they say about it. I want to know what they say about it right now. I'm going to go on mute and look for myself.
Yeah, do some research for us. But the way I understand it, they see themselves as fighting a common enemy. It's identity politics, and the common enemy is the imperialist capitalist regime, which Israel is a part of, as is the United States. So there's a woke version that's identity based, but there's also a woke version that's imperialist capitalist based,
right?
Where they have imperialism and capitalism as the oppressor instead of white patriarchal supremacy.
So what we're finding out is that they see imperialist capitalists the same way they claim that people like Alex Jones use the term globalist. So they literally see imperialist capitalists as Jewish, then, right? I mean, because that's what they're really against. They might be against people who are not Jewish and imperial capitalists, but they clearly see all Jews as being imperial and capitalist. And if you can be on Hamas's side, whenever their explicit charter is for the extermination of Jewish people, how can you not see that their anti-imperialist capitalist stance is the same thing that they're always saying Alex Jones is saying when he's saying globalist, which I've never heard him say anything that was truly anti-Semitic. He means globalist by people that wish to have a one-world government is when he says globalist. He doesn't mean Jews. but it seems like these people, it seems like they mean Jews. So I don't know what to even say at this point. It's like this is almost as bad as when Canada's doing their big salute for the Nazi, a couple weeks
Yeah, and
back.
Jews are white now. Jews are part of the white patriarchy, imperialist, capitalist, whatever. So this is a chance to strike at what they see as their enemy. And it's a global enemy. Someone just sent me this video I want to take a look at.
I'll let you look at
It's a spoof of the current situation.
Oh no, I just watched this earlier. This is hilarious. Yeah, I just watched this earlier.
Palestine. I honestly don't know who to post. Usually it's easy. BLM, bang. Ukraine, bang. COVID, bang. Hey, did you do your Israel-Palestine post yet? I've never missed a stand. So who'd you go with? I look on my phone, I see a lot of Republicans supporting Israel. So I go, maybe stay away from that. Then I saw that we've been calling Nazis supporting Palestine. But then the people that we've been calling them Nazis with are happy Israel's getting attacked. Riddle me that.
Yeah,
no easy answer here. Did you do your Israel-Palestine post yet? No. What did your manager think of that?
I'm retired.
Oh, you don't have representation right now? Obviously, I was at the front lines of getting mad at Kanye West when he was doing the anti-Semitism stuff. Everyone was thanking me for standing up for the Jewish community. So naturally, I'm seeing this happen. I go, okay, we're back with the Jews again. I see Kylie Jenner post for Israel. I think, okay, the word's in. Then boom, she's getting killed on every angle. So it's not Israel. So I start doing a bit more research. I'm seeing queers for Palestine. And generally, you want to be on the side of the queers. If you look at the things, you're not going to get in trouble if you go with what the queers are saying. Then Mia Khalifa, who we obviously support, is posting with the queers. And she's getting fired from her job. The whole reason I'm posting this is to get in better standing with my job. And by the way, I started to see that your silence is noted post popping up, so we're running out of fucking time. If you had to pick, who would you say?
I would stay out of it, like I told you.
But if you kind of have to choose, which is sort of what a situation I feel like I would find myself in. But you don't understand. I got to post to support one of them. I know to you, it might be like, oh, who cares what he thinks? A buddy of mine booked a Geico commercial from his Ukraine TikTok. So it happens. Feels like we like decolonizing. What is decolonizing? Is that just like killing the people? That's literally what I was saying, man. Because normally it's pretty easy.
I don't know what the answer is.
This one's, I just want to post one of the flags and sort of be done with it. It's tougher than you think. I'm getting yelled at if I post Palestine. I'm getting yelled at if I post Israel. It's starting to feel like, if anything, I'm the victim here. I'm looking on the internet. I see Jews for Palestine. I kid you not. Also, I'm watching the parades. We're talking Times Square. Between me and you, when I see a bunch of brown people having a parade, I think it's a pretty safe bet to be on their side. Never failed me before. I mean, people are probably texting each other right now, wondering where my statement is. Israel, though, probably, right? Yeah. For me, it's a little more complicated as a Gentile, you know what I'm saying? Maybe if I look at who's getting censored, that's a good place to look. Like, follow the YouTube warnings. And then I'm looking at UN women. I'm thinking, follow the SNIS. Whatever the women say is usually pretty good. They're just posting random shit that has nothing to do with it. Trans lesbians or lesbians. Can I just go with that? Just like a random blanket post. Just be like, hey, lesbos, just so you know, lesbos with dongs are still lesbos. Stop avoiding the dong lesbos. I can't. I feel like it's the wrong move. But you go in Israel or Palestine, you're thinking, no English. Oldest trick in the book, my friend. I wish I could do the same. Okay, so like if Native people in America took down some girls at Coachella, I'd probably be like with the natives against me, right? Like that seems right. I can talk to my representation for you if you're.
No, it's okay.
Palestine's got to have Jewish people there, right? Like Palestine, isn't that? Am I being messed with here?
So I did my.
I needed that.
Yeah, I did
edit that out of the podcast though. That guy's heavily monetized and he might copyright claim.
I might get a notice.
Yeah.
Doesn't he want people promoting him?
That
I
was
guess
hilarious.
we should at least put his channel name or something up on the screen or something like that. So just so it's like it's clear we're
How do I
getting
do
proper
that?
attribution.
Okay, I'll put his channel. What's his channel? Let me pull it up.
It's Ryan Long. I don't know.
Ryan, thank you. We really appreciate your work. Everybody like and subscribe to Ryan's channel. We totally support his video, and I definitely needed that.
Have you not seen his old video where it's like the?
I don't want to talk about that.
I think I've seen one. I think I've seen one.
Talk about the topic. Let me talk about the topic real quick.
Okay.
So I read by Palestine, the Palestine Israel conflict, say queer struggle because it's the anti-apartheid thing, which. They got a point.
Israel's not apartheid. That's a myth. I just posted an article debunking it. That's one of the propaganda narratives that are out there. It's not an apartheid state.
Okay. Well, it is. But this
It's
is
not.
stepping it. I think it
It's
is. But I think
factually
they should
not.
wipe them out. Right, if Hamas is really that bad, just wipe Henri out, rather than ruling over them.
Okay, I'm going to post this article from an actual Jew. Okay, this is for those of you who think it's an apartheid state. Oh yeah, I did see that one.
Yeah, it's that one. That's the one he's most famous
That's the
for.
same
But,
guy.
and that one's actually hilarious because that was the first time I heard. I think that came out like 4 years ago, so that's pretty old.
Ryan, please don't get my channel taken down. Come on and make us laugh one day. I invite you.
Yeah, that would be great. I would love to have him on the show, but I think he's probably. I doubt if he
Out of our
notices
league.
if he notices that we use if something alerts him somebody uses video, maybe it'll end up getting his attention. Maybe he'll come on the show. I don't know.
Yeah.
That would be pretty funny.
I say let's assume Israel is an apartheid state, even though you say it's not.
Okay, in their mind it is. Okay, I can go with that. In their mind
I
it
say
is.
just wipe out Hamas instead of try to clean them out with needles. Just wipe them all the way out. That way it can't be an apartheid state because there's no more people to oppress.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. They're seeing Palestine through the lens of their fight against oppression, and they see them as oppressed, and Israel is the oppressor, and it's the same woke dynamic that they impose on everything.
Yeah, so
That's the only set of glasses they have to look at the world.
Is it
possible if their opponents or really genocidal maniacs don't oppress a race?
Is it possible that some of these woke tards are so stupid that they don't realize that Israel is primarily Jewish and that's what anti-Semitic means?
No, they're not that
Yeah,
stupid.
is it possible? Yeah,
I think
it's possible, but they're not that stupid.
I don't
No,
know.
I
I don't
think
ever
they're
estimate
stupid. I really do.
overestimate their intelligence.
I think they have taken a term like anti-Semitic. They don't know what the word fascist means, but they call everybody fascist.
You define fascist, Chris.
What's it?
Chris, I dare you to define fascism.
It's a government system of sorts that primarily rules through fear, intimidation. The symbol of the fascists was an old weapon in Roman times that was used to beat people in the streets whenever they got out of line, and therefore the idea of fascism is therefore a rule by strength. So yeah, I can define fascism.
Yes, but that defines literally every government that exists currently. Every other government state that exists right now that would qualify as fascism
uses intimidation to some degree, but they do not primarily use the threat of violence to get their way. That's not the primary thing they do. Because it's not a terribly effective long-term political system. As a lot of fascist regimes fall over time because they don't work in the long term. People eventually get unrest eventually happens in other revolutions. Hold on, sorry. I've got a baby crying.
She's not having this.
Yeah, she doesn't like. The thing is, I was trying to do a debate on fascism, but I read through the academic literature. No one agrees on what fascism even means.
Well, let's look it up.
Very loose. It's very poorly defined. I don't even like to use the term.
It's a far-right, authoritarian, ultra-nationalist political ideology characterized by a dictatorial leader, centralized autocracy, militarism, belief in natural social hierarchy, subordination of individual interests to the perceived good of nation, race, etc. This is from Encyclopedia Britannica.
Yeah.
And Merriam-Webster's.
Yeah. But it's people don't. We don't. Far right's poorly defined. Natural hierarchy is poorly defined.
Really?
Yes.
Not really. So here's the difference. Think of it like this: there's an authoritarianism, and then there's dictatorship. The difference between the two is authoritarianism is basically you're going to do what I tell you, or I'm going to beat the crap out of you. Dictatorship is you're going to do and think what I tell you, or I'm going to beat the crap out of you. There's a difference in there. One's concerned with what you do. The other one's concerned with both what you do and what you think.
How do they know what I think?
They absolutely don't. It's like nearly impossible. They just make empty accusations. You can never get in front of anybody's or into anybody's mind. But that's generally the concept. Like if you write a book, if you write a Facebook post, right? Whatever you say, they're going to imply what they think you are thinking about.
So someone moderates your Facebook post, that's fascism?
Fascism is going to come more with the ideology. It's actually going to be about what you think.
Yeah. So someone like deletes your Facebook post or just gives you a warning because it's not fascism.
No.
All right.
Deleting Facebook posts.
So if the police knocked on the door for your Facebook post and asked you a few questions, would that be fascism?
Knock on your door over what you post? Depends.
Yes. Okay, what if you went to jail? They didn't beat you up, but they put you in jail for the Facebook post.
Okay, it depends. Did what you post break or violate a law? Like, AKA, I'm going to kill the president. That would be pretty freaking illegal.
But would that be fascism or just criminal justice?
That would be a law. Yeah, again, it depends. An example that would get deleted off of Facebook, but wouldn't be considered like, a violation of his law is, I hope pick any group you want. I hope any minority group dies, right? That's, or like say, put it into like a prescription method. I wish somebody would go out and kill all of these X people, right?
Oh, like Steven Anderson does. So would you say Steven Anderson's fascist?
No.
But he just wants to use the law to get rid of minorities he doesn't like. Is that fascism or not?
I wouldn't claim so, no. If you use the law, only the government can be a fascist. It has to be an authoritative group. It can't just be some random person.
Yeah.
But he just says he wants to get new laws for the government to get rid of the minorities he doesn't like.
The only way he's going to do it is if he overthrows the vast majority of whatever country he's in. Is he American?
Yes.
That'll be a cold day in hell before that number gets up there anyway.
Yeah, here's the problem. We have no idea when fascism starts.
Sure we do.
It's forcible. It's monolithic. So you have to impose it on people. It's monolithic, regimented nation under the control of an autocratic ruler. Yeah. So when you have those conditions, you have fascism.
Oh, okay. So it has to be an autocratic ruler. So if a democratic ruler, it's something else.
People would argue that someone could be democratically elected, but this will be a fascist and take an authoritarian or autocratic type position and rule as a fascist. That could happen theoretically. I mean, basically what happened with Germany. So,
yep, Hitler democratically elected. He was democratically elected.
The people still support him throughout most of the war. So,
yeah. Well, okay, is China fascist? I mean,
I would call them authoritarian. I don't know if they qualify as fascist.
Right. I did. The only reason I mentioned fascist was I was saying that I don't know if these people that the Queers for Palestine stuff, I don't know if they actually understand who it is they're supporting or who they're against when they're supporting them. I'm saying I don't know if they actually understand that whenever they're supporting Hamas or Palestine, they're actually being, as some would say, anti-Semitic. Because of, but of course, that's the reason why they're not putting up anti-Israel signs, they're putting up pro-Palestine signs. So you're not against anyone, you're just for something. People think that there's a difference in that. But even in this kind of situations, I don't think it really it really works that way.
So I know from reading this academic literature, the academics don't have any consensus of what fascism even means.
Oh, academics do, yes.
They don't. They even say so themselves. They don't have.
Sure they do.
I just gave you at least three definitions. It's not that hard.
Yeah, I mean, I don't.
I have been asking who's fascist, and all you can say is Germany. Even if we have a few
because
different states with different
Oh,
governments,
okay.
and you don't know where the line is.
Here's an example. One, it has to be a state. It has to be a government. It can't just be a group of people. Like, let's just say,
Just a group of people, though.
yes, technically, but just some random group. Example, say the 3%ers, a militia, the malicious group in the U.S. or the militia group in the U.S. Let's just hypothetically say they have they have some charter that says, okay, no black people in our neighborhoods, right? Yeah. Okay, they still can't be fascist because they have no authority. It's just crazy people going around trying to enforce some type of, I don't know, ideology they have. The moment they become a ruling party, then they become fascist.
Okay, so was Donald Trump a fascist?
No.
What
the left called him fascist the whole way through his presidency, though.
Huh? Because people like throwing the word around as an accusation. They think it means something.
Yeah, that's my point. It doesn't mean anything.
And
it doesn't mean anything in layman's terms.
Yeah.
No, it does. No, in fact, the word doesn't mean anything.
Well, sure, I'm worried about this debate. If you're doing this for a debate, I'm a little worried about you.
We don't. You're worried about me because you can't define your term in a sense that's consistent.
No, I've defined it 3 or 4 times already. You can't define it.
It's not. You're not defining consistently. I mean,
your argument is it has no definition when it clearly does. Just because people misapply it doesn't mean that actual fascism is not what it is.
You're not defining a way coherent enough for me to understand what you even mean. So, you say I don't know.
I went to Wikipedia, which took me to Encyclopedia Britannica and Merriam-Webster.
Other than Germany and Italy and during World War II. Give me one that exists today.
Why would you need more than that, though? I mean, Italy.
Because I'm too stupid to understand what you mean. So please give me an example.
The Spanish Civil War was also fascist. They were taken over. That's where I had family killed in that war.
Which war?
They were taken over by Franco, who was a fascist dictator. He was explicitly, by title, he considers himself a fascist. And I mean, he did exactly what a fascist normally does. He ruled by fear. He exterminated opposition mercilessly. My great-grandfather was killed in a firing line because he was a doctor that was sympathetic to the resistance against the fascist regime, and he helped people that were fighting that war. And so he got caught and he got executed.
Do you want
the kind of thing that fascists
do you want a modern country, a country that exists today?
Yeah,
Iran.
Yeah.
Well, this article I just posted said, while no true fascist government exists today, the most recent was Spain from 1933 to 1975, and it gives lists of historically fascist country. It does say fascism can be difficult to define and identify. This is partly because it's modified to meet a specific fascist party's political goals, and partly because it has many variations. So take a look at this article. It might help you. It looks like it has a lot of research in it. And it's from World Population Review.
Oh, okay. So are all the yellow countries fascist by their standard?
I think these are historically fascist.
Because it has our country is in yellow, and it's. I don't
know. Let's see. Hover over a country for details.
Yeah, if I had to guess, like 2 countries off the top of my head, modern day would be Iran and North Korea.
It's not giving me details. Is it giving you details?
North Korea technically is not really fascist, though. They're technically socialist, which uses fascist type enforcement methods, because all socialists are ultimately fascists in the end, but not all fascists are socialists. So
I'm hovering. Oh, let's see. It's not giving me details though when I hover over, other than their population. Oh, anyway, all I'm doing is Google searches, so you could do the same thing.
Yeah, this is my issue. This is my exact issue. It's a very slippery definition. We don't. Other than Germany and Italy during the war, no one else agrees. I mean, we can't even get straight answer on Japan during the World War II, whether it was fascist or not.
Spain was fascist under Franco, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Spain was definitely,
yeah, we get straight answer because they claim to be fascist.
as was Italy pre World War II. So
So is your
Italy,
debate a
Germany, and Spain,
semantic
we can
debate?
get straight
Like,
answer to them because they explicitly claim to be fascist themselves. But if it's like gender, if fascism's like gender, you're only fascist if you say you are. Then I that's not really. I don't even care about
it's a descriptive term. It's a linguistic category, and you can fit things into it. This article does exactly that.
Then why is the United States in yellow? It doesn't even say.
I don't know. That may not be related to the article. It's just showing population. Just Google a different article if you don't like that one.
I can
wouldn't get
Google
too
the
caught
stuff.
up on
I'm trying to understand your definition. I can make
My
own
definition
up,
is
we don't agree on
these
it.
definitions. I don't have a personal definition of it. No, Canuck, we have not. Do you want to come on and provide us yours? It's a fuzzy category, but it doesn't mean that something that the thing it's describing does not exist.
Look,
Yeah,
the only reason
it
it's a
can-
fuzzy category is because people on the left have muddied the water so much by calling anybody they don't like as fascist. It wasn't a fuzzy category before people that didn't understand the term started using it constantly. It was never a fuzzy category. The definition you read off of Wikipedia, Jeff, is perfectly legitimate. I mean, I just gave my own personalized interpretation of it, but what the definition you read is very academic and very straightforward. I don't see how there's any like room for wiggle in it. It's authoritarian, autocratic. It is generally a dictatorship almost in every case. I'm not sure there's any way it
It's
cannot be a
ruled by
dictatorship.
force.
It's ruled by force.
That's all governments rule by force. So the
No.
way I
But
solve
they
this
don't.
problem is that I
No,
just
they
don't
don't.
use
No, some
that
of them
term
rule
with you
by
because it's
consent.
unclear. It's ambiguous. I don't like the term.
That's
I won't
not
use
ambiguous.
I won't use the term in the conversation with you because I don't know what.
Well, how are
mean.
you doing a debate on a term you don't like, don't believe has a definition?
I don't debate it. I don't want.
I thought you said this started because you were
doing.
doing a debate on fascism. and you had
No,
to
I
do all
said I
this
was researching it for debate and decided not to bother with it because
okay.
the term is too muddy. That's why I said, I'll say it again. I researched it. The academics didn't agree on the term. It was too slippery. So I decided not to debate it because the academics couldn't even agree what the term meant.
Well, here's John's definition for you.
Well, I haven't seen that particular. I feel like that might be a better definition of the current day, like the current day, the present as terms evolve. That might be really what it really more refers to today in a lot of people's minds. But I mean, I guess I tend to go more for the spirit of the original term and how it was initially used. But I mean, I think his definition is probably perfectly valid. It's not the way I think about fascism, but it doesn't mean it's wrong.
I don't think about it much at all because I don't take it seriously as a credible threat in today's world.
Yeah, it's not for a very small country. You know, a very small country could be taken over by a fascist regime because of its size and just the relative ease with which that I think is that happening for a very small country. I don't see it happening for pretty much anything you see today that's going to be fascist. It's going to be socialist first and then fascist second. So,
Yeah, but if Sarkim's definition applies, that's just public-private partnerships, and that's too broad to be what you mean.
oh, I don't know, man. I don't think it's worth. I don't know what we're debating about whether or not fascism has a meaning or not. I mean, it clearly does. If you don't agree with it, that's fine. I mean,
it's not coherent enough for me to bother using.
Then don't use it.
Then don't use it. That's fine.
I don't
wasn't
use
even
it.
talking about the term. I was just saying, I was literally talking about the fact that the left misuses the term all the time. That's all I was saying. I was just saying that they misuse the term fascist the same way they misuse the term racist or anti-Semitic or phobic in any of its many terms. That's all I'm saying is that they misuse those terms and to the point where they're practically meaningless. And to the point where they no longer know what the term they're using means. They just know it means peace, but I don't like. They call someone a fascist because they don't like them, not because they're actually fascist, not because they're a Nazi, not because they're a racist, because they don't like them, and those are terms used for people they don't like. And that's how simplistic their thing. This is the reason. This is what I'm saying I think that's my theory behind how Queers for Palestine exist is because they don't actually understand anything about Palestine, anti-Semitism, Nazis, or anything like that. They just know that someone told them that they're supposed to be pro-Palestine, so they're pro-Palestine, and that's the end of it. It's idiocy, it's ignorance, is what it is.
Yeah, but I'm supposed to be woke too because I'm part of UU Church. No one told me to be post-Palestine, and I'm also pro-Israel.
I guess you have. Just
Has it come
I don't
up?
think you don't
No.
hard carrying wokester and get
We'll
like
bring it up
month-
and see
the
what
morning,
they say.
The morning updates from wokeism. I mean, you have to be part of those communities that believe that way. If they had memos that went out to every person as a member of the woke club, then
They
I guess
do have
then
memos.
everybody. Oh, they do. I mean, maybe if the UU church does, but I'm saying the term woke is not an official category. It is a loose confederation of people that have the same general kind of philosophy. So there isn't like a unifying principle around that. You might not have heard that, but it doesn't mean that these people that started Queers for Palestine didn't. So I mean, I think they've generally been pro-Palestinian for these last few years. They don't really know about what horrors the Palestinians have committed. In a lot of cases, they just know that the Palestinians claim they've been part of an apartheid state. I agree that there is no apartheid state, but I'm saying they believe that, therefore they're pro-Palestine. It has nothing to do with even any kind of philosophy. It's as simple as someone told them they're supposed to, so they did it because they're idiots. So
I just pulled up their statement, the UU statement on Israel and Hamas, and they're praying for everybody. They pray for peace, and they're on everybody's side. So they're not taking a firm stance on one side or the other. They just want peace for everybody,
which is fine.
Which, I mean, of all the stances I've seen, that's not a bad one to take.
Yeah.
I can live with that one.
I'll argue against it.
Okay.
I'm part of this.
Well, you just want it bombed.
Well, I don't believe in the concept of peace. It goes against human nature. Our entire history is about war. The idea of like believing in peace, like actively.
We have peace now. Like we live in a less barbaric, less savage, more civilized society.
Than 100 years ago, yes.
For peace.
Yeah, but that wouldn't change the what I'm saying. Conflict is inevitable. It always happens.
I don't know if always. I mean, as someone who does conflict resolution for a living, I've de-escalated conflict and redirected it many times. So we at least have the capacity for that.
Because two people within whom you were communicating with wanted it. What happens if one side wants conflict and the other one doesn't? How do you reconcile that?
I know. All I'm saying is the fact that one side even doesn't want it is kind of a point in the favor of peace. Like our human nature is not just bloodthirsty war. We also have the capacity and the instinct to live peaceably.
Capacity to do it, yes. We definitely have the capacity to. It's just not very common.
But it's more common over the years than maybe in the past.
I would say you would be correct if you're comparing, like, say, the last 100 years, or not. Well, okay, after World War II, anytime after that period, yes, it would be more common from this time period than, say, the last 1,000 years. Like, if you're just overlooking it. The problem is it's almost inevitable that we're going to return to that period.
Yeah, but war is the exception and not the norm currently.
It's definitely the exception. It's a very common exception, though. Like I said, you just go back any 400-year period in history and look at conflicts. There's tons of states fighting each other over probably most of the time really petty, trivial bullshit. But it's enough to people willing to fight over.
Yeah, I mean, I've been very fortunate in my generation to not have really seen a major war that I was involved in. But that was not true for my grandparents, my parents. It may
Yeah,
not be true
yeah.
for our grandkids.
We've just gotten really good at killing, so we can do it a lot faster now.
Yeah, that's true. Or we don't even have to do the killing. We can just invent the whole thing on AI and convince everyone that war is
The
happening
robot
until someone
dogs.
finally drops a bomb, right?
Well,
Damn.
can't we just do a damn martial arts tournament or video game tournament instead and just wait for something? That'd be at least would save more lives.
Ooh. I'm a little too biased here because I don't particularly care about all lives. I only care about, well, the people I care about.
I hear you. I try to maintain my natural sense of empathy, but I certainly lean that way a lot of times. I get very, very cynical and feel that way a lot of times. And I mean, ultimately it comes down to it. Yeah, I'm going to choose the people I care about over anybody else. I'm definitely not a everyone is equal type thing. When it comes between me and mine and somebody else's, yeah, I'm going to choose me and mine. Yeah, but just like most people would, though. I don't think, no matter how many people out there try to say that they're not like that, they wouldn't do that, but they would. Everyone would.
Hmm.
So at the end of the day, we're all like that, right? But at least we're not as stupid as, like, say, someone who's a member of Antifa that doesn't realize that anti-fascist, them being anti-fascist is hilariously ironic considering they're using fascist tactics. People like that, or any of these people that misuse the terms, like they're all trying to fight some ideological war they aren't even a part of. So it's just stupid.
Oh, that's just generally a good rule of thumb, is to avoid people where their first step is based on animosity.
Yeah, anybody approaching a situation with that kind of.
Speaking of which, you guys remember the CT panel, right? The Chaotic Truth panel?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You know I'm an admin there now, right?
No
I
way.
did not.
Oh,
congratulations.
Jesus. Like, this is... I got ethno-nationalist. I got anarchist, commies. There's everything there, right? And they popped up with the Discord, and it's slowly growing and growing. And
send me a link.
I will. I'll send you an invite. And anyways, the admin, I was like, this is kind of ingenious because they somehow figured out how to put all of these different groups who, by the way, hate each other. Almost every other YouTube stream that they do, which is live, got the N-word flying left and right. I don't know how they're staying on. Like, I have not figured out how. I'm shocked, right? But whatever CT does, he's just managed to kind of like get up to that boundary and then just stop. I've only seen one stream shut down, and that's because it got porn bombed. Anyways, their admin was like, you seem to get along really well with everybody, so I'd like to offer you an admin position. I was like, you realize I don't actually get along with everybody. I'm actually kind of confrontational. And he's like, yeah, but you talk to everybody. I was like, yeah, because, what's the point? How am I going to understand other people? Like, if I start off with, I hate your fucking guts, and I'm just going to name call you, what am I going to learn from that? And they were like, well, you seem pretty fair. So I ended up getting the admin position, and like, I'm building their website, their Discord. I'm like, no, I'm just doing it. I'm doing it mostly because I'm really curious to see how the hell CT does this. There's no way in hell. I think the N-word, I think, gets flying around because of the double standard. Bunch of black people using the N-word, no problem, apparently, right? But now if you get some ethno-nationalists on panel and they start throwing the word around, problem. So I don't know, or at least that's what I think. But I'm sticking around because I really want to figure out how the hell this works. Because to me, it's not rational. It shouldn't happen. From everything I'm seeing, this shouldn't be the case.
We need to talk to you about some infrastructure stuff then, because I keep forgetting that you know so much about that kind of stuff, all the website stuff. I need to ask you some questions off stream sometime about just like how to, because like there's a lot of stuff that I could probably figure it out over time, especially if I can get back my ADHD meds and stuff like that, and focus better again. But it seems like since you're kind of up to date on a lot of that stuff, maybe I can just like ask you a few questions and make a lot more progress faster.
Anything you want. I'm actually kind of hoping. I wish Jeff would like kind of start putting his videos on his website.
Yeah, we talked about it before. I mean,
it needs a little organization to get there. It mostly his I like his like I call it self-help website. I actually kind of like the idea. I actually think kind of people need it. Actually, I think a lot more people need it than what's being said. But is people are people.
I agree. I mean, I think Jeff is providing a very valuable service doing this podcast and other things. So that's part of the reason I'm here. So
Okay, I'm gonna try to get on that stream. I try to get every time things start to turn into a dumpster fire, I somehow put it out. So it's kind of annoying. So I'm gonna try to get on one of those streams then.
It's definitely the opposite of CT's. That's not putting out the fire. That's putting gasoline on it.
Yeah, hopefully. Usually, I'm too empathetic. So
I thought you were this narcissistic Machiavellian,
I know that's
Yeah.
why. Yeah, I empathize with
Unitarian
them.
Universalist.
Yeah. I understand. I understand crazy, and they don't want any of this. So
well, I guess we should know this by now that Hank contains multitudes. So
As so many of us do.
yes.
So, like, I gotta ask you guys, like, how often do you run across I don't even know what to call them anymore. Just like people that just randomly want to hate somebody. Do you run into that often?
No,
Not here.
I avoid. I'm pretty good at filtering dysfunction and that kind of hostility out of my life. So
Did
I very carefully curate who I surround myself with.
I think I might need to kind of like employ you for a consult here because, like, apparently, right? Like, I seem to be running toward that stuff. I don't know how I'm not avoiding it, right? It's just like every time I turn around, this is what I see. I'm like, crap, what is wrong with me?
I mean, I recognize it when it happens, and then I don't. I redirect. I disengage. I don't continue relationship.
Maybe that's where I'm wrong. I'm usually so confused that I'm trying to figure it out. So it takes me so long to figure it out that I just stick around to watch. And the next thing I know, I'm in the middle of it.
Is it the drama? I put my website in the
Yeah.
Try if you ever need it. Is it the drama that draws you in?
Not particularly. I'm kind of used to it. It's okay. Here's an example. So basically, like, CT's community is a group of people. You got black nationalists, white nationalists. You've got ethno nationalists that really want to just throw people out of the country. You got pretty much everything, right? So just imagine.
okay, just a bunch of nationalists. They all agree with each other.
Yeah. I'm a Christian nationalist. I mean, I'm an atheist that's a Christian nationalist. Go figure that one out. But you got all
Mesotheist.
Yeah, you've got all of these different groups. They all just generally outward how they talk, they just generally dislike each other. And so they'll basically verbally attack each other. Okay, CT has now figured out how to get all of these different types of people in the same room on camera and monetize it.
Yeah.
This to me is like, how do you do this on social media in this day and age where everybody gets kind of like new? He's a conservative.
Get away with more stuff, I think. It would depend what it is. Plus, they all have the same ideology, just don't like that the other guy wants control and they want control. It's just feminism and incel.
I've come to the conclusion most of the people that talk shit don't actually believe the shit that's coming out of their own mouths. These two guys here on panel got sent over there to deal with Be Brave, which was a supposed white supremacist in that group. And
that the old guy in the mask?
Yeah, Chris gets up there, asks one fucking question, and the dude backs down instantly. Pussy.
Yeah, it was really weird.
So they believe it, but they're so on the margins. They'll grab on anything. They're looking for.
Now
they all have the same ideology.
No, now I'm not even convinced they believe it. I think they're just saying it because they've got nothing else to say, I guess. I don't know. Like I said, I'm perpetual confusion. I don't understand any of it.
They believe it, but they don't believe it enough to do anything. So yeah. I mean, I have still friends that are like that, but they believe it, but they don't believe it. They have other priorities. I can put it that way. They have other priorities that just all prioritize their nationalism.
Yeah. Well, that kind of goes with the term, I guess. But I mean, just is what it is. I find it fascinating. It should not work. It should not function, but somehow it does.
Yeah,
I don't know why
it's
it wouldn't work.
I can only say that I think YouTube cares much more about the market, about like whether or not you're using copyrighted material than they do whether you're using hate speech or anything like that. I think in generally speaking, they let most of that stuff go by because it doesn't really hurt their bottom line. Whereas otherwise you're hurting someone else's bottom line because you're using their content or something like that. That's the stuff they mostly focus on. If it was anti you know shots anti-shots language or something like that goes against somebody else's bottom line. So there's really not hurting anyone's they're not hurting anyone's pocketbook by talking a bunch of crap amongst racists like that. I mean, they're all racist one way or another, so at least they're all together, I guess.
That's a better help because there was something.
Right. Well, I mean, I used to have I had a friend that he actually is on one of the tracks of my SoundCloud, Kel, and I went with him a couple of times to this redneck white guy's house, and this guy just used the N word constantly, and he just acted. But him and Kel were really close. They were really close guys. But this guy, if you just heard him or talked to him in the street, you would have thought he was a complete piece of shit racist. And because of the way he acted and stuff, but like that, and I was like, doesn't that ever bother you? Does it bother you that he does that much? I mean, I've never been the kind to use language like that or anything like that, just because like I just wasn't raised that way. But he was like, no, I'd much rather, I know he says it all the time, but I know he doesn't really mean it in a hateful way. But most of the people that do mean a hateful way won't ever say it. So, there's something I think that even racists find comforting around, angry white people to just spout stuff like that because
I think Canuck hit it here with this comment.
Yes,
exactly.
If we're auditioning for a tribe to belong to, that's very true. This kind of tribalism is much like the sediment in an old jar of orange juice here. I've seen that sediment before. That's gross. If you're accidentally smelled like an old thing of orange juice that was left like unattended for long enough and it ferments and it turns so sour.
Luckily, I haven't.
Probably the worst smell I've ever smelled in my life, and that's yeah, it's like a toxic gas or something. It's not safe for humans to be around.
No, that's how the Vietnamese here make wine. Mostly using apples right now, but oh my god, yeah. If the smell don't kill you, take a swig of it. That'll damn sure. Well, that'll run your vehicle. Jeez.
Sorry, I was responding to somebody on Discord.
Orange juice and bread.
Yeah, that's
yeah.
Breads used to have that yeast in it, kind of help it kick in it. Usually, the old breads didn't have like all of the yeast wouldn't be used up if you'd done it with baking. That's what they call jailhouse wine.
Yeah,
sounds
prison
nasty.
wine. Yeah. Make it in the turlet.
Making the turlet.
It's from Futurama. Like the old Pappy, the old janitor guy. He's like, prison ain't so bad. You can make wine in the turlet.
Scruffy, yeah.
Yeah, it's Grumpy. There you go. Yeah, that was Pappy or something. I couldn't remember. I was here a long time.
You guys keep talking. I got to wash some dishes. I'll be right back. I'm here. I'm listening. I just can't talk.
Oh, I thought you had a wife. Just kidding.
I do. That's why I'm doing the dishes.
Yeah.
It's like only spoken by a man that's never been married. So
that's right. That's how you know. This is what they call that marriage is true modern slavery. I want you to understand this. That is true modern slavery.
I think it's funny. I think the only people I ever hear think things like that about, being married, like, well, you don't have to do the cleaning because you're married. Like, that's clearly people have never been married before. I don't think there's been relationships like that since the 50s. I mean, it's actually more equal. It really is more equal. People do, at least my relationship, but we do actually share those responsibilities and stuff like that. So, but you can think of it as slavery if you want to. I choose not to.
Yeah, you can.
My marriage that way.
You can think of it all you want about the whole share part, right? See, share implies choice, doesn't it? Tell you what, tell your wife no, see how that works out, right? Tell us about Force, Hank. Tell us about Force again.
I chose to believe in love. I didn't say that I was stupid. So
You got it. Yep.
no, I'm just kidding. Aren't I?
Yeah, you better be just kidding, or else.
See, I've got this little one here, and she makes it all worth it, even if it wasn't worth it in the first place. Well, would you like
I just want to go on record and call it slavery because I used to be like freer than hell. I want to get up and go to another country, get on an airplane, and I go. I hang out for like 6 months, no problem, right? Now I can't walk across the fucking street without permission.
Okay, well, I can't do that even if I wasn't married. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, really.
Like, that's expensive, man. I can't do that even if I had no attachments. That would mean nothing.
Well,
I'm still financially constrained.
Yeah, me too.
Well, it came with the job, right? But if like the idea was, if I wanted to go, I could just go. It wasn't a problem, right? Now, if I want to go, I pretty much have to ask permission. Just weird. As an adult, just strange.
That's you and your wife, then, because I've been in relationships where I could come and go. You got to at least cross the street.
Oh, well, see, this is what I learned about that word yes, right? You know, when she uses that specific tone and tells you, oh, sure, honey. Yeah, you want to go out late tonight? Go right ahead. That's a trap. I've learned
she's playing games.
Have you tried not asking her doing it?
She might be playing games, but she's also winning. And that's really the point, right?
Yeah.
Well, why is she winning? If you're letting her.
Well,
that's
because
not like healthy communication.
But there's no communication. This is like this is true love. You don't understand. This is actually true love. See, it's got nothing to do with her. I love my life and I'd like to keep it, so I'm going to do what I'm told.
Oh, I'm a romantic, so I will never.
You're not in control. You're not master of your life, then.
This is true.
Self-determining.
This is true. You kind of like show up at church and you do that whole like the vows and everything, and you say I do. That's the last time you'll do anything, right? You'll just do what you're told after that. That's what that means.
Oh, okay. Well, that's why I'm going to be a corporation, not in a marriage. So, a power couple, tree, or whatever. How many I need?
My relationship was not like that at all. It was very collaborative, and we both had our autonomy and freedom.
Well, I'm telling you, I think the point that see here, I'll give you. Come to Vietnam, marry a commie. You'll learn real fast.
Oh, well, maybe that.
Well, that's your first mistake, then, right? You married a commie.
Oh, so you married a communist dictator? Okay.
And now he has no freedom.
Yeah.
Okay, I understand.
Yeah. It's kind of how it works.
I'm sorry.
And I mean, go ahead.
Go ahead. Go no.
No. I could. I guess I in theory I could run away. I mean, the airport's kind of close. She's short, but I still have this funny feeling she can move a little faster than I am. I mean, you heard the old war stories. The trees here like have guns and move around. It's kind of dangerous.
She's in the trees.
Well, always be training. Always be training. That's all you can do.
Yeah, and it's even worse. She was taught how to field or how to disassemble and reassemble an AK. I've never even fired an AK, but she has.
Yeah, you gotta be careful then. I retract my previous statement. You cannot just get away. You'd have to. Yeah, you'd have to let your own leg off. So,
I've come to the
embedded corpse.
I've come to the conclusion the purpose in life is to get to contentment. So I'm fed very well. I get to have fun here and there around the house. It's okay, right? Like, so I'm okay with it. Like, I'm kind of happy enough with it.
Unless you talk to random strangers on the internet.
Yeah, the internet's not really a threat.
Maybe that's what we should do, Jeff. We should do a stream. We should have a stream day for like once a week where we do a stream where we basically do our version of Loveline from the 90s. Remember that show? Dr. Drew and Adam Carolla.
I remember that.
I watched that old Canadian lady that did the sex talk.
Okay, well,
which I'm not suggesting we do.
no, I don't want to do that. But if the love line was Doctor
Is
Drew
people
was
calling with
actually
relationship problems?
Yeah, people.
Oh,
It's
I'd
like
be good at
we
that.
should
I
dedicate
already-
a stream once a week to doing relationship call-ins. We'll have people call in and tell us about the relationship problems, and we'll try.
Yeah, we could do it, or
advice.
even have a daily segment, because people
Yeah.
bring that to me all the time anyway.
Yeah. I mean, like you're an actual peer counselor. I am actually married, and so we could both have some. You're single. Why I'm married, so we both have two different sides of it. I think we have probably some decent advice to give. So we should do that.
Yeah. So yeah, if anybody, if you want to bring your problems on here, feel free. And you have a kid too in the mix, right? Joshua.
Joshua, you still there?
Yeah,
Caller?
I'm here.
Are you still
Sorry, back and forth with the sync. Yeah, I got a 3-year-old.
So you have the joys of fatherhood with it as well.
Yeah, he was all right until I was stupid enough to. I thought he was like old enough to give him a couple tools, so I gave him like a screwdriver, flathead and a Phillips and everything. I messed up. We had to replace the air conditioner. So it ended up sit around in the house in a box for like a couple of days or whatever. Took it out of the box and everything. Took my eye off the kid for I guess about an hour. Yeah, turns out he learned how to use that screwdriver real easy. Got the air conditioner taken apart.
What?
Did he clean it?
He's 3 years old.
Yeah.
Yes,
Did you remember to
figured
clean
that
the air
out.
conditioner?
Your kid's
Dang.
a genius. You don't have anything to worry about there, man. Just like
Yeah.
encourage that instinct in him, because that's like an engineer in the making right there. That sounds great.
Yeah. Did they clean it and reassemble it?
Hell no. It was in parts everywhere. Cleaning up. What are you talking about?
No, you didn't work
Being
on
able
that
to
part.
disassemble something is it now if they just destroyed it, they just pried it apart, then that's like I don't know. I guess then I'd be impressed by the raw strength of a 3-year-old. But if they were able to actually disassemble it in any kind of like coherent way, that's not easy to do. Most adults can't disassemble something very very well, to be honest. So
I mean,
Or at
like
all, because they're too stupid.
you didn't have like
yeah,
the
I think you
whole.
meant Dr. Ruth.
Yeah, you didn't have like the whole thing broke down, but like you had the cover off of it and everything. I was like, what the hell?
Those
How the
covers
hell
are
did you
heavy.
figure
That's
that out?
impressive. She's strong and smart enough to disassemble an air conditioner, man. You got a real smart kid there.
But it did get in trouble for giving him tools. Go figure.
But see, like you what I would say in that situation is like, well, that's true. I did let him have tools and maybe I shouldn't have done that. But at the same time, now we know that he's a genius, so we wouldn't have known otherwise. So it seems like a pretty good win-win ultimately. Unless the kid got hurt, then nobody got hurt. You've learned something important.
I'm just trying to learn how to weaponize him, right? So like, I don't really particularly like.
Definitely, that's what we should always do with our children: weaponize them.
Couple of doors down, right? I got one of these neighbors, kind of a little pain in the ass, right? So like, if I can teach the kid, give him a little bit of guidance, I just send him over there. Hey, go play over there. It's no problem, right? Go take apart their air conditioner. See, win-win.
Yeah, then you realize you're going to start war with the other parents, then, right?
Well, said he's not a man of peace.
Oh, that's true. He's not a man of peace, so I guess that's good. Yeah. Yeah. Sue. You mean Sue Johansson, not Dr. Ruth? I figured you meant Dr. Ruth.
No, she's not Canadian. She's like this old. I think she passed.
I know
but
who you're
she's
talking
old,
about now. She's
like
even cooler than Dr.
grandmotherly lady, and
Yeah.
she gets into it.
No, I remember her now.
She reviews
Yeah.
sex toys, and
Yeah.
she shows you these dildos, and some of them have electrical cords on, and then people calling with their
maybe
sex
back
problems.
in those days, people for some reason found it more palatable to have like an old lady talking about this stuff.
It was
That's
hilarious.
weird though. That all that shit made me uncomfortable. I have to say, even back then. What are you working on over there, Hank? Looks like you've been looking at something else.
Yep. I just scrolled down my X page a bit. Oh, the
Yeah,
former Twitter.
You've taken to calling it X now.
There's no point in fighting reality. It's X now.
It's just that's what it identifies as.
Yeah, it's
Even though the
really
domain
weird
name says
how
Twitter
Elon
still.
Musk was so strongly anti-trans, and then he just trans his whole company. You know, it's just like, you know.
Yeah.
Maybe X is for the chromosome he believes in most strongly.
Probably.
The Sunday night sex show with Sue. That was a great show. Yeah, I think I saw it like
It really
once
was.
back
I
in the
think
day.
I'm going to watch some old episodes.
Oh my god. I can't say. I mean, that must have been on whenever I was like 13 or 14. I don't remember it all that well.
I'm browsing X2. I need to talk to Paul because it seems like he's very ambivalent about support for Israel.
I'm sure he'd be happy to do a stream if you want to go on and talk to him about, you know, your perspective on Israel. He'd probably love that.
I posted a couple of videos in his Discord for people to watch and kind of get some background.
I would just email him or just message him on Discord and just be like, hey, like, why don't we do a stream talking about the Israel thing? Because I think that both sidesism isn't really like the Really
well,
the
average debate enjoyer responded. He says your centrism goes out the window when it comes to this subject a bit. So I'm not the only one noticing.
You're pretty much all pro-Israel. What's centrism?
Centrism isn't fence sitting, though. Centrism just means that you have a healthy mix of right and left, in my opinion.
Well,
I don't really see centrism as a
the fact that you can even argue over what it means shows how broad the term is, and it's
but I'm saying being explicitly pro-Israel does not make you not a centrist. That's a ridiculous take.
Even within centrists, for me, it means I'm not an extreme. I'm somewhere between the two extremes. But for some people, it's this little core in the center that's not taking any position that's left or right.
Yeah, see, like, I don't agree. I have very strong beliefs that go one way or the other. A couple of them might be in the middle, but for the most part, my beliefs are very passionate to one side or the other. Because it's such a mixture of those things, I ultimately end up somewhere spectrum-wise in the middle. But a lot of people think that centrism means you're a moderate, which means that you don't really take positions. So, I think that's.
I am
McCullough thinks
he's more or less moderate in that I'm not an extremist.
Yeah, same here.
I mean, I agree to that.
If that makes me bad, then oh well. But I'm still not going to be an extremist.
John said, at its heart, centrism is acknowledging that being effective is superior to being right, because we can't all agree about what is right. So let's be effective. That's a very good summation.
I like that. That deserves
a good definition.
A feature.
I see that Papa John says it's National Sausage Pizza Day, and so I got an email saying that. So I'm gonna probably order a pizza.
Oh.
Is there any place doing back on National Taco Day? Like me and my wife, we made a little taco cardboard thing, and we went to the Mexican restaurant that was honoring this thing where if you came dressed as a taco, you got free food, and we got free food. So if there's
did you get pictures?
Pizza, you know, we forgot to get. They took pictures of us at the thing for their Facebook feed, but we forgot to take pictures of ourselves. we just forgot.
Oh, let me see if let me see if they posted it.
Yeah, it'd be the Dallas Chewies. Dallas, Texas Chewies. I don't know if it's going to be there or not. It's the South Lake location. I don't know if they have a separate Facebook page for that. But
Chewies, Dallas, Texas. Let's see.
It's probably International Taco Day Chewies or something like that. That's
no, they still have that same dumb family with the construction paper tacos and the black meat.
Well, they took the pictures and they gave us the free food, but I guess they didn't use them. So, oh well.
Better shot than this family. I would be embarrassed to even be in public with these.
Oh, I was embarrassed being public with the ones we had. We both were, but we still did it.
No,
for
yours
free
were
food,
cool.
so
You
that's
showed
fine.
them to us before you left.
That's
Yours
true.
were cool. I would
They
be
weren't that
proud to wear Lindsay's tacos.
We left them at the restaurant. We didn't even take them with us.
Oh.
Well, they'd serve their purpose. We didn't need a couple of giant cardboard tacos sitting around the house, so we were just like, yeah, just leave them. We thought maybe the staff could use them for decorations or something. I don't know. Let's see. You said National Sausage Pizza Day. Is that what you said?
Affirmative.
Wait, what? The Heart Attack Grill? It
Oh,
wasn't
yeah.
there when I was living there. Let's see.
Yeah,
What? That doesn't seem. How is that place even allowed to continue?
The
If you're
people
over
want it.
350, you eat. That seems dangerous. Like if you're that obese, why would you incentivize?
Well, everyone dresses in nurses' outfits and like if they give you like a shot,
What?
like an alcohol shot, they bring it to you in a syringe. So the
Maybe it's
Oh
a
my
young
god, they have a
program.
burger that's this tall. It has like
Yeah.
5 or 6 patties on it.
I know. I've seen videos of people.
I've
eating
never heard of this place. Where is it? In one of the casinos?
No, it's
This is
on
a
Fremont
gimmick.
Street.
This has got to be.
It started in New York. It's been around for a long time. I remember seeing it diners and dives and whatever drive-ins.
They're
thing
like
a long
Hooters
time ago.
nurses.
Yeah.
Oh my god, they have a man at the table in a medical gown eating
Yeah.
a hamburger.
They give you the medical gown when you go in. You put it on over your clothes. I've been there, but I didn't eat there.
This is. Oh my god. American Hamburger Restaurant. It makes a point of serving food that is very unhealthy and high in fat, sugar, and cholesterol. Is this a satire on American culture?
Yeah, absolutely. But
Food that, if
also,
eaten
they're dead
frequently, may
serious.
increase the chance of a heart attack. So it's deliberately serving food that maximizes your chance of having a heart attack.
You have to sign a waiver when you go in. You have to sign a waiver that says that you can't hold them responsible for your
I
death
feel like
or
I'm in
something.
some crazy movie.
Oh, it's been
movie
around for a long time. It's been like 20 years.
It's cooked. The fries are cooked in pure lard, beer,
Yeah.
tequila. They have butterfat milkshakes. Mexican Coca-Cola made with cane sugar. You can order.
God, that sounds awesome.
You can order candy cigarettes for children.
Yep.
Okay, that's
did
bad.
this- how
That's
did
bad.
this restaurant pass regulation?
Probably because they have a good crack team of lawyers.
Yeah, the heart attack grill I would definitely go to. The whole cigarette thing for kids, yeah, the candy cigarette thing. No. I remember those when we were a kid. We used to have those.
Yeah, we used to have them at school. We used to have them on the playground. They were
That
like
wouldn't be.
sugar sticks with
I
little
wouldn't be a
pink
big fan of those, but the food, like just basically deep fried in lard, that just, oh God, I'm in love.
It's breaking every health taboo known to man.
I'm fine with that. My life's over.
Where's the pork? Jeff.
My life's over,
pork?
so
Where's
I'm
the
good,
pork?
right?
Yeah.
Where's the bugs? No, it's not. They can do better.
Where's the
Highlight the
bugs?
issue of
Where's the
obesity
bugs?
by encouraging it.
Yeah, it's not breaking all of them.
Oh, well, no one wants the bugs. It's supposed to be all the food
I
that you want
wonder
to eat, but
if-
you're not supposed to.
Do
Exactly,
fat
no,
people feel
yeah, exactly.
validated
It's
by
breaking
having a
taboo.
restaurant
You
like
want the
that?
bugs, so we can serve them.
I don't know if that would be validating or not. If I were overweight, to have a restaurant where I could just kind of go and pig out and be myself, or if I would feel like I was being exploited or taken advantage of.
I don't know. I mean, I think they will take pictures of people that like beat their challenges or something like that. But I don't think for the most part they're gonna like exploit you really. But I don't know.
Oh, are you a fat man? What's your opinion on it? Because I was about to say I need to ask my fat friends. Although most of them stopped talking to me because they were all feminist, and I didn't realize
Why is that? That's weird.
I don't know. For some reason, if I have friends that are feminists, we're going to clash at some point, and then I'm going to get canceled.
You can't cancel someone.
He
that
thinks it's great.
doesn't
Okay,
care.
well, John, Canuck supports it, so
As someone who is formerly fat myself, yeah, I support it. I mean, I have
you would support it too.
the heart attack grill. Yeah, it's fine. I don't eat there, but it doesn't mean like I have anything against it. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. It's all done tongue in cheek. It's done in like a good spirit of like trying to be fun.
Yeah,
no
it's
different
done
from-
tongue in cheek, like the presentation and everything, and I get the irony of it. But the actual food does not
Well,
sound like it's
I mean, their
contributing
food
to
is
the overall
openly
health and
unhealthy,
well-being.
but there's plenty of food that's stealthily unhealthy. I mean, the most calorie rich thing at McDonald's are their freaking salads. So
Yeah, that's true.
because of the dressing.
Yeah.
But you can get light
I suppose, but I'm saying if you get the
or
those
Italian or no
salads that are,
dressing
like
at all.
pre-tossed or whatever, like
Oh, like
Give me a plain
vinaigrette. That's
salad.
not too bad.
I'm looking. There actually are some specials from pizza places. I haven't found one yet. That's actually. It looks like Cece's
It's so
has
Vegas.
Yeah, the Heart Attack Grill, but it didn't start there. It started in New York, I think, and New York and like
Chandler,
LA or something like that.
Arizona.
Or was it Arizona that it started?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then
I
it
thought
moved.
it started in LA or New York, but it's been around for a long time.
I mean, Vegas has all you can eat buffets and stuff anyway. It's not exactly the place where people go to eat healthy. I put on more weight in Vegas than anywhere I've ever lived when I lived there. We were constantly eating out. For fat feminists. Well, yeah. Well, they happen to be fat and they happen to be feminist, I guess.
Let's make this clear. We do not think all feminists are fat.
Nor the converse. Consider this: for the first time in history, we are dying from too much food rather than from a lack of it. Yes.
You said it as if this was the one thing we needed to clarify. On the whole stream, we talk about war. This is the one thing we need to clarify.
I mean, I'm from the South. I have plenty of fat friends.
I think every one of these articles I found that are about like deals you can find for National Pizza Day or Sausage Pizza Day, I think they're all written by AI. I don't think any of these are real articles. They all are built out of gibberish and
so now we're gonna have all these new manufactured holidays that the
probably
restaurants and
Hey, if they'll
corporations are
give
going to
me a pizza
generate.
for free, I don't care. Like, there's like a one of the things here is for Cece's saying that their special is that you can get as many pieces slices as you want. Well, if you know Cece's, it's a buffet restaurant, so it's like that every day. So that's not a special. So I think it's pretty clear this thing is written by an AI.
National Day. Oh, it tells you every day. Okay, what's tomorrow? This is thank you, Hank. This is we'll come back. Where tomorrow is National Gumbo Day. Where am I going to get the free gumbo around here? Where am I going to get gumbo at all? I have to make it.
Really, you guys don't have
National Free
food
Thought
shops
Day.
like
we
that?
could do something here for
I
National
got
Free
lots of
Thought
places
Day.
around Dallas so I can get any kind of food I could ever want in the city. There's nothing here that we don't have that I'm aware of. There's no like just about every weird kind of specialty food and everything. I think the only thing we don't have anymore is the donut grilled cheese thing. We used to have a few of those, but
you don't have grilled cheese. What's going to be on Friday the 13th?
Donut grilled cheese. Donut grilled cheese.
Oh,
it's much different.
National No Bra Day. Train Your Brain Day. Yorkshire Pudding Day. Okay, this fascinates me. I'm going to... Real Sugar Day. People are just making this be bald and be free.
Yeah, people just...
Yeah, but for the nation, so it's good.
Global Hand Washing Day. Why do you need one day to celebrate hand washing? Cheese Curd Day. Okay, now my head's starting to hurt. Let me turn it off. I've never eaten nutria. I know plenty of people who do. I don't like the real gamey stuff. I grew up eating. My family were hunters, so they were always cooking duck and quail and rabbit and squirrel, and sometimes they'd go out in the backyard and just shoot things and bring it into the house and cook it. But I never ate any of it. I've had duck before and frog legs, and that's about it. Nutria gumbo. I remember one day we were driving home and we hit a chicken with the car. And my grandma made my grandfather stop the car and grab the chicken. It wasn't even fully dead. And she had it in the back seat. It was flapping
Fresh.
around. She went home and she made a gumbo with it.
Yeah, not fully dead means fresh, Jeff.
It was very fresh. Big white chicken. Sibling day. Yeah, I think we just had sibling day. Because I know because people post on Facebook and they had son day, daughter day. Well, did we lose half the panel?
Yeah.
We could wrap up too. We've been going for 2.5 hours.
Yeah. And I want to go ahead, order, and pick up the pizza because I'm not going to pay for goddamn shipping on pizza.
Yeah, I'm getting hungry too now that y'all are talking. I might do a frozen pizza.
Yeah, frozen pizza. There's
One
some
that I
good-
don't have to
there's some
leave the
good ones
house
these
for.
days. Yeah, there's some
Yeah,
good
they
ones these
do.
days.
Or you can make your own dough. I haven't figured out how to make my own dough yet. I can't do it properly. But if I could just cook it in a skillet. In the
That was
oven.
way ambitious for me. We did it in home ec class though. We made homemade pizza. I remember, but they had me on the team with the black girls, and they did all the cooking. I
Yeah.
just handed them things.
Yeah, I like using the cast iron skillets to cook. They're good with broiling.
Take care, Canuck. Good seeing you.
Yeah.
Hopefully
Have a
we'll
good
see you
night.
again.
Have a good night, John.
Yeah, now that my house guests that came in with my dad are gone, I can cook again. So I may do that tomorrow. I'll get something.
Yeah,
started.
you look like you're a decent cook. You've posted some pictures before.
Yes, I am.
I am like kitchen illiterate. Not even kitchen illiterate. I am kitchen disaster. I'm a
Cooking
hell
is
hazard
not. It's not
in the
rocket surgery.
If
I
you
can
want to
microwave.
learn,
When
you
you're
wanna learn,
dyspraxic, it's not the cognitive part of cooking. It's the mechanical execution of it.
oh, okay.
Just
I
stick
was
to
gonna say-
simple things like Instapot, broiler. That's what I do.
Yeah.
Stick to Instapot and broiler. You
Instapot,
can't
yeah,
screw that
we
up.
used to have an Instapot in Seattle, and I could do. I made my oatmeal in the Instapot, so I can do some things with an Instapot.
If you
I
want
know how to
learn-
microwave. I've mastered that. I
Yeah,
know how to
microwave,
master-
Instapot, broiler. If you stick to those, you can pretty much make anything that's.
My roommate has an air fryer, but I haven't tried to use it yet. Even
Air
that
fryers
looks
are super
complicated.
easy, man. You can do tons of things with those. But I mean, if you want to learn to cook, just get like
I
a
don't.
meal kit
don't.
service for like a month. Okay, because like that's how I learned. I learned from using Home Chef and HelloFresh stuff like that. I did that during the pandemic, and it taught me all the basics of cooking that I didn't know. And since then, I haven't really had any issue making anything. Or you can just go to YouTube videos too, for that matter. It takes you like step by step, really in detail, a lot of things. It's really I love cooking though. I mean, it's the thing that sucks the most with my vertigo is that it keeps me from able to cook very much, and I really love cooking. Well, it keeps me from working, period. But yeah, but I in terms of things I can't do a lot of things I enjoy like VR or cooking and a lot of things like that. But bye, Patty. Or were you saying bye to bye to John? Maybe she might have been saying bye to John.
I'll get a husband like Joshua for that. For cooking. Are you still doing dishes, by the way?
Well, if you move here, I always make too much food, and you could always come over and eat. I guess if you live here, because like I always make gigantic amounts of food when I cook, and we have just me and Lindsay and a baby, and my older daughter sometimes when she's not doing theater, and and it's just not enough mouths or stomach size for the amount of food I make. I always end up making these massive pans. I don't know why. I have like this mentality, like I forget that I'm doing it because I grew up in a pretty large family. Like,
Is
you
it
know,
a Southern
getting-
thing, you think?
Yeah, it's probably a Southern thing. I don't know. I don't know why I do it. I even before I start making something, I try to tell myself not to, and somehow I always end up with like 10 times more than I need. So it's weird.
I
just freeze
end
it.
up with like 4 times more, but that's because the grocery store portion size is insane. So you can't scale down the size of meals enough about just not using the thing, how to throw it out anyways. Because it's just I've been to grocery stores for that.
All right. Well, I guess if you guys are going to go and get yourself some food, then you gonna stream again later or anything if you're bored or something? Jeff?
It's very much a possibility.
Okay.
I don't have anything until 8 o'clock. Well, 10 o'clock your time.
All right. Well, let me know. You can.
So I might go eat, maybe take a nap, recharge,
Sure.
get some downtime.
Still tired from your weekend, I'm sure. I know those kind of things can.
Yeah,
like,
I'm
take
coming
over.
out of it, but it's still lingering.
Yeah.
My body hasn't quite bounced back.
I understand that. I do.
So yeah, either I'll put one up later tonight or definitely tomorrow,
Yeah, just Discord me, and I'll
maybe about the same
I'll
time.
join you if you want. And I'm gonna.
Oh
go
wait, I
and-
work tomorrow. And then have something in the evening. Yeah, I might have to do it a little earlier tomorrow, but I'll put one tomorrow during the day.
And Chris, you should have a shipment in. You probably already have it. So
Oh, really? I didn't even know. About that.
yeah, I have Prime. So you probably and the place you live. I mean, your shipping time is so insane. I mean,
Yeah, Dallas is crazy.
yeah,
There's probably 40 Amazon warehouses here now. There was only 28 when I worked there, and that's still a ton for one city. 28 warehouses, and I think there's like 40 now. So you can pretty much get anything in like 2 hours in the city. So
yeah.
Anyway.
Here we have. I made Amazon warehouses 3 that's kind of close.
what city you live
FedEx
in?
warehouses.
What area?
2. UPS is 2. But yeah, pretty much. If you ship something to the warehouse, you're not getting it for at least a day.
Yeah. Well, anyways,
Jack Talcott's streaming now. If anybody's looking for another stream to go to, I'll put.
Oh, okay. I'll give him a visit then. Hopefully, he has
Other-
trolls to feed me.
Hey, machine guy. Hey, machine.
Oh,
yes,
hey,
something
machine.
to come.
Yeah,
Sit there,
we
pass
were
us
kind of
like-
wrapping up. I mean, we can stay on if you want to come and talk. Hank had us all hungry for pizza.
Well,
I
gotta
told
for
you
a
to
little
go to
bit anyway. I've
bed.
Gotta go and get them some food. So
You gonna go? Okay.
yeah, I'm gonna go.
And
I'm gonna
Jack's
go get
streaming
some
too.
dinner,
So
yeah. But like I said, just Discord me if you're gonna go on later. If you're still on or whatever, I'll check back and see. So,
yeah, I'll either go on later tonight or tomorrow during the day.
no worries, man. Talk to you guys later.
Okay. Oh, the marijuana. Are you still going to Chicago? Yeah, we're at the tail end of it. We talked about a bunch of shit. I still want to hear. I didn't really get to hear the Muslim, or at least your Muslim perspective, last night on all the bullshit going on in Israel. Got stuck in the car, like with the person you got to ride with, or physically stuck in the car.
Oh, I mean, it ain't fair. You think it's physically stuck in the car? Come on.
I don't know. With
Oh,
him,
what's up,
you never know. Anything's possible. I've learned. Oh, I see. Well, we might stream later tonight. Just depends on how my day goes. And then if not, I'll be on tomorrow. Probably a little earlier.
Yeah, I got to take off and take a shower and get ready to take my kid to school.
Did you
it's
get
good
those
talking to you
dishes?
guys. Yeah, I got the dishes done. I don't like getting beat by my wife, so I'll make sure that they're done. Machine, what's up, bro? Jeff, I'm going to send you an invite. If you could send me Chris's contact on Discord. I don't think I have him. I could be wrong.
Oh yeah, okay, I'll do that.
But I'll send you an invite to the server.
For the, that Discord.
Yeah. I'll catch up with you guys.
Okay, good seeing you.
Take care, man.
Okay, I'm gonna hop off. I'm gonna get my sausage pizza.
Okay, enjoy it. Happy Sausage Day, and we'll see you later.
Yep, happy sausage pizza day.
Bye. Okay, that is the stream for today. Unless I do another one. Let me find something to play you out on. How about one of Chris's songs? So yeah, check the channel later. We might be on tonight if there's nothing going on, and if not, I'll be on sometime tomorrow. So have a good day, and let me turn my banner off. And I will talk to you later. This is Murder Berkeley.
Get the fuck back before you're torn apart. You're packed with the devil, ain't stronger than the holy arts. And don't be trying to bring that shit in here where we operate the knowledge that inspires your darkest fears. You sit there bragging, where's the road you made? What you gonna do? Your first world pagans can barely throw shade. Before I come to cunt you down in silence, here's a quick lesson in the spiritual